sir.
Did he say that? Yes or no?
I will answer that in a moment if you would let me finish. I'll let you finish. Right? Listen, I'm not spin. I'm not going to be rude and go back and forth. He also said since 1988, repeatedly, over and over and over again, that the first thing he would do is cut off their oil supply and take over Carg Island if they didn't play ball, which is exactly what he did. He put an embargo on them. He's over here cut them off, and he's bombed them to high hell. Now they can't get their oil out.
Well, you're just saying that he's contradictory, right?
No, I'm not saying he's contradictory. I'm saying he's more consistent.
No new wars, but he somehow is also in support of war. How is this not contradictory?
That would be actually be contradictory to what he's been saying since '88.
Can we just start over?
Exactly. Exactly. He has no.
Hold on.
Everything's situational, Rignall. Do you disagree with that?
Hold on.
Go ahead, Brian. I know you're trying to get some clarification in there.
So the question wasn't what Donald Trump said in 1980. Don't care what he said in 1980. The question is, did he say when he was running for office again a second time that he will be a peace president and he won't start any new wars and he won't do regime change? That was the question. I could give two shits what he said in 1980. So I'm asking you a very direct question. It's a yes or no answer.
No, that is not what he said. That is not what he said. It's taken out of context. He said no forever wars. He said he was going to be projecting America's strength forward. We're going to be the strongest military we've ever had. These are all things he said. And he's consistently said he was going to take out Iran since 1988, repeatedly in multiple interviews. Right. So like you're just picking and choosing what he said that you don't like.
No. I'll make you $1,000 bet right now that Donald Trump said he would not start any new wars.
I'm also going to make you $1,000 bet that he said that he would take over Carg Island since 1988. He said it more than once.
Can I get a commission off this?
No one
heard about me a grand too. Oh, in this one, he gave an interview to the Guardian about it. Like,
version. Hold on, no one's ever heard of Carg Island before last.
So hold on a second.
I got a source.
Don't worry.
Let me try to make this bet again because I don't care. The bet wasn't about what he said in 1988. So let's try to be clear on this. I will make you $1,000 bet right now, verbatim. When he was on the campaign trail, he said, "quote." I won't start any new wars. Would you like?
And I will make you a counter bet. I will make you a counter bet for $2,000. $2,000 that he said in 1988 in an interview to the Guardian while promoting the art of the deal that he would invade Carg Island, and this is something he's repeated multiple times since.
Let me respond.
So like you're just like trying to ignore something he said repeatedly.
He's a liar.
Hold on. Let's have some amount of back and forth where we're not talking over each other. Go ahead, Brian.
Let me respond. The bet that I am offering has nothing to do with what Donald Trump said before 2023, 2024. So now let me try this again.
Okay.
The bet I'm making with you is as follows.
Okay.
Did Donald Trump say, quote, he
Here's
wouldn't start any
I'll bet $10,000 that he said this in 1988 to the Guardian. Here's $10,000. You want to bet $10,000 that he said this? Like, I'm one up in your bet. We got to go with the big. Hey, Clay, hold on. Shh. The big boys are talking. The big boys are talking.
It's like the third time you guys have gone around and said,
Clay,
you're being an ass.
Clay,
at least with Angry American, his shit is.
Clay, shut the fuck up. The big boys are talking. We're talking about money here. We're talking about money. Clay,
I'm done.
I got $10,000 right here. Hold on. The bigger bet goes.
We're done.
The bigger bet goes.
We're done. I'm going to read money. I'm going to read money. You guys can't figure that out. I'm going to read money. Okay. Every time an interruption happens and you talk with each other, I get money. Boogerman says in the big two, says sanction Israel. Also says partisans are all bad. Thank you so kindly. Also says January 2026, Donald Trump is a fascist BS. Fair enough. Justin, I'm not going to read it, but thank you so kindly. And Boogerman also says, I could solve it all today. All right, Gibbs, I'm going to hand it back to you. I
just want to say one quick thing. 10 seconds. That was the only point that I was trying to make to this gentleman. And he kept talking about 1988. The only point that I was trying to make, whether you're for or against the war, that wasn't really what the point that I was trying to make was he said he wouldn't start any new wars. That's a direct quote. He said that multiple times on the campaign trail. All I was trying to simply point out is that it was under false pretenses because obviously we're at war with Iran. And that was the point that I was trying to make, not about something he said in 1988, which is very bizarre. We're obviously talking about right now. We're at war with Iran.
Why are we at war?
There was a second part of this where she said this repeatedly since 1988 in multiple interviews. Like, this is not just like a one-off statement that he said. And that's why you're acting like we could have two different situations. Iran's basically been at war with since '79. I don't know why you act like this is some kind of new thing. They've had a shadow war with us. Their sponsors, the biggest state sponsored terrorism worldwide.
That wasn't the discussion.
I mean, that is the discussion. That's the discussion I'm saying he's being more consistent by saying the same since '88 than one hypothetical promise.
They're trying to say that Trump has been saying that Iran's a problem, so it's not a new war. He's putting an end to an old problem.
Exactly.
I don't agree with that.
I know you don't agree with it, but that is the take.
Donald Trump on the campaign trail multiple times said he would not start a war with Iran. In fact, he criticized Obama
and Joe Biden.
He said he was going to start Joe Biden. He criticized it. He said Biden would start a war with Iran. The point that I'm trying to make is he ran on two things in 2015. He said he was going to build a wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. He built 6% of the wall. Mexico didn't pay $1 for it. He said he would hire a special prosecutor to go after Hillary Clinton. He didn't do that either. On this go around, he said he would lower prices on day one. He said he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. This is what the guy ran on. Inflation now is up almost every category. It went up 0.6% in the last report that we received. Everything in the supermarket is up except for eggs and a few vegetables. Gas prices are through the roof, and we had the biggest spike in inflation we've had in 3 years. By every standard, the economy is suffering right now. We're spending $2 billion a day on this war in Iran. Whether you agree with it or not, the American people are suffering. And now we just started a $1.7 billion slush fund to pay out to anybody, including January 6th insurrectionists. So those are not opinions. Those are facts. Now, if you agree with what he's doing, okay, fine. I think you might be a little crazy, but the fact that he wants $1 billion for this White House ballroom, he's paying out $1.7 billion to idiots like Steve Bannon and Navarro and Rudy Giuliani and people who beat police officers on January 6th, and we're never going to find out about it. They're keeping it quiet. So I don't know how anybody on this panel could be okay with this slush fund when I care about the American people. I care about people that are suffering, whether you're on the right or the left. I care about people. I want people to have their health care. I want people to be able to have food stamps. And I don't want people to have to make a decision between putting food on the table and filling their gas tank.
Can we get this dish gallop to a trot, please?
So, hold on. So if you're a fan of welfare and private health care and all these things, then you should be a huge fan. You should be okay. Well, hold on. You are Medicare. Well, all these things, these programs.
Never said I was a fan of it. Never said. Hold on. Let me
did you not just say that this gish gallop you just gave us?
Let me clarify.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me clarify to you. I'm not jumping for joy when somebody who is suffering is on welfare. What I am saying is when people are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and they can't afford health care, I don't want that health care taken away from them. If somebody's on welfare and they're unemployed and they're struggling and they need help, I don't want the biggest tax breaks for the top 1%, which was $100 billion last year. I want people to be able to save their life, to be able to afford medications like insulin.
So you're bringing up the tax breaks for the rich, but we're already finding more fraud than the tax breaks like everywhere. So you should be real happy that Trump is in here gutting the fraud. I mean, we're up to such a guess like.
Really? Did you get your $5,000 dose check?
I wasn't ever going to get any kind of checks for the government, but I make too much money.
Really? I thought Donald Trump it's not about how much money you make. Elon, you just mentioned the word fraud, so let's talk about fraud.
Yeah, let's talk about fraud.
Are you aware? Let's talk about it. Do you have a problem
with billions of frauds?
Yeah, let's pile another topic on the Barbie.
Hold on. Let's talk about that real quickly. Are you aware, sir, since you care so much about fraud, that Donald Trump pardoned over 70 people that committed billions of dollars in fraud and they don't have to pay back restitution? Are you aware of that, sir?
I'm aware. Yeah, I'm aware. But listen,
are you okay with that?
Don't care. Here's the point I'm talking about.
You don't care?
I'm talking about the hold on. Here's why I don't care. You know why I don't care? Because that was fraud committed in the private sector. Yeah, that's bad. I agree. Hold on. That's much different than my taxpayer dollars being wasted on hospice care that's not going to anybody, going to daycare centers, all sorts of other sorts of fraud that is out there that we're finding every day. There's been over 800 convictions already since JDS started his task force. And you're sitting here going, oh, I'm worried about the fraud over here in the private sector. Yeah, that's bad, bro. I agree. It's real terrible. All these politicians are corrupt. But at least now we're gutting what's already in the system. It's kind of like a forest fire, clearing out the rot. And you should be jumping for joy. I've moved positions. I went from, hey, no welfare. I don't think anything. Now I'm going, hey, maybe we should give it a chance after we got out the fraud. But like people like you are fighting us tooth and nail and distracting from the fraud investigations and pointing to private fraud that has no bearing on what my tax dollars are doing. Like, don't change the subject of private fraud when the subject at hand is the taxpayer fraud that's going down when that's all these things. Come on, man. Do better than that.
Okay, so I unfortunately, with some of these pardons, respectfully, I don't think you have any idea what you're talking about. This wasn't all in the private sector. That's number one.
Was the majority of it? Was the majority of it though?
Number two.
It was. That's why you avoided that answer.
Okay, so Elon Musk and Donald Trump said that they would find hundreds and billions of dollars in fraud. Can you please tell me how much money in fraud that they've uncovered in the last year and a half? Do you have those statistics in front of you?
Sure, I can pull them up in 2 seconds.
Is it unusual for politicians to make hyperbolic statements during an election?
It's very unusual for people to not concede elections. It's very unusual for people to. Oh, really? Who hasn't besides Donald Trump? Who else hasn't conceded as president in our lifetime?
Hillary Clinton.
I mean, Hillary
not true. Not true. Nope, I'll respond to that.
No, I don't care if you do.
Hold on.
You can lie if you like.
Let's talk.
Go ahead,
this isn't a lie. These are facts. The
I have
next
those
day,
numbers when you're ready.
Let Brian hit his point first.
The next day, Hillary Clinton did something that every other candidate in our lifetime has done, which is concede. The only president in American history that has not conceded a presidential election is Donald Trump. By the way, that's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president.
Is that why she was running around claiming that Donald Trump stole the election from her?
Dude, relax. People are actually about to lose their minds, Sarah.
All right, give us those numbers.
Oh yeah, so the ones I have, this is from Doge Tracker. This one says they have an estimated 215 billion saved just by Doge alone. This is not including the estimated fraud that's found in Minnesota or California, which is 15 billion and 90 billion respectively. So that looks pretty good. That's pretty good right there. That's just the start.
Those are, and I'm sorry, what's the source on that?
This is Doge Tracker.
Doge Tracker.
Okay, so Doge.gov.
Gotcha. So who
it was the Jerusalem Post.
Oh, it's the Jews. The
Jews.
Go ahead, Brian.
What's wrong with the Jews?
It's a joke because they all said it was
okay.
The Jews.
Strange joke, but okay.
I agree. I think it is weird. It's a strange joke, Mr. Shapiro. I agree. Everybody always blames the Jews. I like the Jews. There are some of our greatest allies in Israel. I just heard somebody talk about AIPAC earlier saying these websites are run by them. That's a whole different fight, though.
Where did the 32?
But anyway, go ahead with what your point is.
Where did the $32 million against Massie come from? Just Google it real quick. It's not like a mystery.
It came from the Jews, for real.
You brought up the Massie thing again. You still didn't refute my point about the Massie arguing against redistricting, which is the biggest push right now. And when obviously you argue against redistricting, you're going to get pushed down. Like that's just how it's going to happen.
I understand the argument about against Trump. What I'm trying to say is money moves numbers, and $32 million. Look up where that money came from. The biggest congressional campaign to overthrow someone ever in American political history. And I just happen to think it has something a little more to do with his interviews on Tucker Carlson.
Here's why I disagree
against Epstein than it does about Trump alone.
Sir, here's why I disagree with you, okay, respectfully. Sure. As soon as Thomas Massie decided to hold that press conference and talk about the Epstein files, before that, Donald Trump had nothing negative to say about him. But after Massie decided to do what he did and hold that press conference with Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, he got the Marjorie Taylor Greene treatment. And ever since that day, his popularity within the Republican Party, within the MAGA Republican Party, dropped in, and that is I'm not saying it's the only.
I agree. No, I agree with everything you just said. All of this is all true. What I'm trying to say though is specifically, it's very, if you want to put something, the money is what moved it. Trump alone making a post on Truth Social or two is not gonna do that alone to Massie, who overwhelmingly won for the last 2+ decades. It's money.
If you have Donald Trump that is opposing you and going on Truth Social and bashing him, which, by the way, it wasn't 1 or 2 tweets. He's been now doing it for months. He's been doing it for months. And if you have the president who has a stronghold over the Republican Party, like it or not, he does, that most likely will end up getting you out of office. That's exactly what happened to Cassidy, by the way, as well.
So then, I agree, and two others. I agree, but so let me ask you this: do you think that AIPAC and other Israel First organizations invested the $32 million against Massie on behalf of Trump or different?
I don't know about his campaign contributions. All I do know is
the other person. I don't even know the other person's name, to be honest.
All I can tell you is this, okay, dude. This is my opinion, okay. The Epstein stuff and Thomas Massie, in my personal opinion, I don't know if there's anybody in this panel that disagrees with him, wanting Epstein survivors, for lack of a better term, to get justice. I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
I disagree with Lauren Boebert on almost everything. I think she's a complete imbecile. But on this, I agree with her, just like I agreed with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why she's no longer in office. Same reason why I agree with Nancy Mace, and I can't stand her.
Yeah, can we all agree that's called being American? Is we all agree on with the perspective of whoever?
Sure, but I agree with him wanting to do the Epstein, like get rid of have the Epstein people get all the repercussions and all the things they deserve, and like all the victims get justice. I agree with that. I agree with Massie on that. However, I also disagree with Massie about redistricting, and I would put every dollar I had if I was going to be an activist and put it into a campaign against him because he's not going to go with the redistricting. So so when y'all are going to sit here and say it's just the Epstein thing, a major significant portion of this is the redistricting, whether y'all want to admit it or not.
When did that happen?
What indication of that do you have?
What indication do I have? It's all over the news. That's what the indication I have.
Okay, hold on.
It's all over the news that he lost because of the redistricting?
Yeah, because he ran against him on this. Like if you literally look at Massie,
it's not the redistricting.
Yeah, because
it's him being a political enemy of Trump. That's redistricting.
Right.
That's actually Epstein files as well. That's him.
The redistricting is the big release. Hold on. And if you're a Republican voter right now, and you sitting here looking at a chance to actually get more redistricting done.
Voters care about redistricting?
Yes, 100%. If you think we don't, then you are retarded. Like I
know you do, because you kind of have this philosophy where there's like no bad methods. You know, I know that you use the same argument.
I'm just saying that the Tim's doing as well.
Do you gentlemen want the room? Do you gentlemen want the room?
I mean, redistricting is a valid strategy by either party.
Admira, here's the bottom line. Okay, you can disagree with me, but the bottom line is the only moment where it started, where Donald Trump went after Massie, was the Epstein stuff.
That's true. That is the starting point.
Let me ask you a question. If you don't think the Epstein file was bigger than redistricting, obviously I disagree with you. Can you give me one logical reason why Ghislaine Maxwell is still in a Club Med facility? After Maxwell 5 months ago said she's not giving up any names unless she gets a full pardon. Give me one logical reason.
Because she's part of Assad.
And I want everyone to hold on to your reasons and think about them. And
I don't fucking know what's going on with the case.
And we'll go around the room here in just a second. But I do want to get to some supers that came in. First off, Tom not only sent one over on here, he sent the Big 10 and said, not spin. He doesn't last long. Wah, wah, wah. But he also sent in the big 50 over on the CASHAPP and said, I don't know how long I'll be on. I'm finishing work, but we will keep you entertained until you're done finishing your work. Mr. Tom Carpenter, thank you so much, you rock star. Also over on Dragon Fist side, he got 5 gifted memberships. Congratulations to those lucky lottery winners, and thank you to you. Socrates asked with the big 5, Brian, since you like facts, you continuously say on your show that Trump paid off her ex to recant her grape allegation. Do you have any proof of that, Brian?
Yes, I do. So there was an out-of-court settlement weeks after Ivana Trump claimed that Donald Trump raped her. Weeks after the settlement, and you could look this up. Now, I don't know how much money she was paid, but what I do know, and this is public knowledge, there was an out-of-court settlement. After the out-of-court settlement, she put out a statement and she retracted her claim that Donald Trump raped her. So that's a lot of evidence. And by the way, under oath, in a deposition, under oath, she said that her husband raped her. So, why would Donald Trump pay her off if there was no evidence or he didn't want discovery? Okay. By the way, on a side note, I'm very happy the New York Knicks came back from a 20-point deficit in the fourth quarter. I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm an NBA fan, so.
Yeah, these Spurs are doing real well, too.
Somebody kick this man. Somebody kick this man.
Well, hold on. I think Andrew, aren't you a Knicks fan?
I'm here in New York.
Somebody kick both of them.
We find common ground in sports.
This was one of the most epic comebacks in NBA history. And I would also say it was one of the biggest collapses in NBA history. I've never seen a team come back from that kind of deficit in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable.
Let me ask you a question.
There's a big deficit to come back from.
On the sports thing, let me just ask you a question. I said this the other day about the Spurs because the Spurs are like a perennial franchise that's good. Yeah. But I said this team, like, they might be ready for a championship, but the city's not. Like, there's all these issues. Do you think the Knicks, like, their fans in the city are going to have that kind of wild, like, response, like, in a bad way? Like,
so here's what I will say. I watched Wembanyama play in person, and then we'll get off the sports topic, but I'll just answer your question because I love basketball, right? I watched Wembanyama play in Las Vegas. I was sitting second row. I watched them beat the Thunder. So I picked the Spurs to beat the Thunder because of what I saw in Las Vegas earlier this year. Wembanyama, let me tell you something. The Spurs are going to win multiple championships in the next 5 or 6 years. They have arguably 3 of the youngest and most talented players up and coming, 20, 21 years old. Castle, Wembanyama, and their point guard, what's his name?
De'Aaron Fox.
They're 20 years. Yeah, and Fox, let's not forget about Fox, but they have an unbelievable core of young players. And I picked the New York Knicks to win the whole thing. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Let me rephrase it. I meant the fan base. Like, so, like, we've been having like riots every time they win here, and it's like I like hope we're not turning to the Eagles. Here in San Antonio.
You're in San Antonio?
Yeah. And so, like, it's been like, which is weird because the Spurs have won traditionally, but it's been a while and it's been embarrassing. I was wondering if New York, since the Knicks have not been like, real like on top for a while, if their fan base could have that issue.
It's a good question. The Knicks have been dying for an NBA championship for God knows how long, right? And I said to my buddy today, I said, I just think they're due. And I don't know. I think the Thunder are great. I could see any of these teams winning. I don't think, especially after this game 1 loss, it felt like a two-game win for the Knicks. It had to take a lot out of Cleveland. And I say the same thing about the Spurs. They had an unbelievable come-from-behind win. I think it's going to be Spurs-Knicks in the NBA Finals, and I'm going to give a slight edge to the Knicks. I just think Brunson is arguably one of the best scorers in the league. I worry a little bit about their coach. I think the Spurs have a phenomenal young coach who learned a lot from Popovich. So I think the NBA is in a great place. I think these are 2 great series, but I think Knicks San Antonio is certainly what the league probably wants. And I think it's exciting to have the Eastern Conference Finals back in New York. I grew up a Celtics fan. I'm still a Celtics fan. But, I'm kind of
like a Celtics fan.
You do look like a Celtics fan.
I've been called a leprechaun before, but I love basketball, and it's a good escape from politics, right? That's what I was going to ask all of you guys. But for me, mentally, what I have to do every day, I wish I could just press a button and just shoot the shit with you guys. It'd be a lot more fun than what I have to do every day. But I actually have to put.
You can.
I know. But you pushed a button tonight, and now you can shoot the shit with a bunch of people here.
Which is great. But the bad news is, I have to do a show tomorrow. I have to do a show Thursday. I have to do a show Friday. I have to do 3 network shows tomorrow.
You get to do a show.
It's very stressful. You're right. But
free will.
Mentally, you're right. Nobody's forcing me to do it, and
you're lucky too.
Yeah, sure. It took a lot of work, but at the same time, it's very demanding. Mentally. So I try to, the reason why I brought that up is I try to watch sports, and I go to a lot of games in Vegas, and I try to do the things that make me happy, because just talking about these topics every day can be very mentally difficult. Yeah. But anyway, I think your Spurs are in a great spot.
I want to take a crack at your question.
I have to leave though. Y'all be good. Thank you for having me, Mr.
Hi, Gibbs. Thank you. I'm going to use that brief intermission. Iotin, of course, switched out. Let's see. Hold on. Who's my next person? LG. Iotin, of course, switched out Calvin for Toasty. He wanted Toasty up here. Toasty's been hanging out in avatar mode. Win to Rinyald. And then also Dixon says it was definitely the Jews. Also, Mr. Anderson getting his new membership. Congratulations, my friend. Iotin is asking a question, but let me hold that. Spin has a credit from the other night. Spin, you wanted to boot Rinyald to the back, and you wanted me to bring up for the win, correct? Okay.
Love you too, Spin.
Yeah, sorry.
Ringworm back for the win to be up. And just to clarify, I do have a full backstage. That means there are 5 people sitting backstage waiting for a seat up here. So if you want to see your friend up on the screen, I've been dropping the list of who's backstage into the live chat. All you got to do is send $10. Tell me who you want to boot, who you want to bring up, or just boot. I don't care, whatever. And we will get you going. All right. Iotin asks, do you believe Trump intended a literal coup with J6, or was it just reckless rhetoric without operational planning? Curious minds want to know. We love Iotin. She's so smart.
That's a really, really good question. So here, I'm going to try to think this through here because it's a really good question. I don't believe that Donald Trump, and I'm some of you might be surprised for hear me say this. I don't believe it was an intended coup, but here's what I do believe. I believe Donald Trump is a sore loser. He can't admit he lost anything. And then when he saw people storming the Capitol, he intentionally did stop it. He was begged for 4.5 hours. Please, Mr. President, put out a video. We know this from the January 6th commission. He was begged to put out a video. He refused to until 4 hours later. So I think he actually enjoyed what was happening. Do I think he planned that in advance? Probably not. But I do believe he incited it, because if he doesn't lie and say the election was stolen and it was rigged and Joe Biden won, January 6th doesn't happen. And I think Jack Smith is going to have something to say about that in 2.5 years, because I do believe Donald Trump will eventually be charged. That's the best way I can answer that.
So if you don't think Trump did it,
beyond
you think the people that stormed the Capitol, that was a coup or like an attempted coup?
No, I think there were like 50,000 people there that day. The overwhelming majority of those people were not violent. I've never said otherwise. But there were about 700 people that were, and there were 1,500 total people that committed crimes. They actually believe every word that Donald Trump says. I really feel sorry for them.
How many feds were there?
Donald Trump is like a sports
I'll answer
team.
that. Hold on. One question at a time. Somebody had just said how many feds were there. If you ask any former or current FBI agent, they will tell you that when you have over 50,000 people at a political rally, it is not unusual to have plenty of undercover officers there. By the way, those undercover FBI agents did not force people to beat police officers. They didn't force people to storm the Capitol. They didn't force people to defecate on Nancy Pelosi's desk. They didn't force people for destruction of property. So
what about the guy that was right in front saying, let's go in, and then never got arrested? And then they went to his house like, hey, wasn't that you? What about that guy? He was clearly a Fed, and he was the one that was telling them, let's go inside. So
what's his name? What's his name?
Roy Epps.
Okay.
Ray Epps.
Ray Epps.
I'm sorry. The guy that's talking to me right now, is that the guy that was criticizing me for crying during a debate?
Me?
No.
Yeah,
no,
you. Exactly.
I thought we were just
No.
Angry American was the first who you're referring to. Now it's Andrew.
Andrew, did you not make a video claiming that criticizing me for getting emotional during a debate, talking about my dead sister?
Did you watch it?
Talking about no. Why don't you answer my question? Did you not make a video criticizing me, talking about my dead sister and my dead grandmother? You think that's bad for a man to do that?
Did you watch it? No, I didn't do that.
You're not a serious person. I watched.
I didn't do that, Brian. You are not a serious person. I didn't do that, Brian.
I watched your video.
My video gives both sides of the argument. I tell what both sides of the argument is, and the chat tells what's correct.
Bullshit. You in your title.
I don't make any claims in the video.
Crying in your video, in your title, which by the way, you're totally entitled to do. I just have no respect for you. You said liberal cries during debate. That makes you an asshole, quite frankly.
Why does that make me an asshole?
I'll tell you why. The reason why I got emotional and the reason why I was teary-eyed is because I was talking about loss. Rachel Wilson lost her 10-year-old son in a car accident, which is awful. And I would never wish that upon anybody. And the reason why I got emotional, and I brought up 2 members of my family that I lost because of a car accident that we were all in when I was 12 years old. I wasn't crying because of politics. I wasn't crying because I thought I lost a debate. I got emotional because I lost a few members of my family. And for you to put up a title like that makes you an asshole. That's what you are. You're an asshole.
I didn't say that you cried because of one thing or another.
Dude,
I said you cried. You did cry. How is that factually incorrect?
I saw the title of your video. I saw what you were trying to do.
Brian Shapiro cries during debate. That's what happened, dude. Is that what happened?
And why did I cry?
But I didn't make a claim about why you cried or didn't cry. Why do you care?
So, here's why. Because I'm proving a point here. MAGA idiots like you want to attack men for getting emotional. In this case, because I miss my sister and I think about her every day. But because you want to try to get clicks, which, by the way, you don't get many, but you try to get clicks to put up a title of somebody that is more successful than you, somebody that actually gets paid to do stuff like this, and you put up a title to try to get people to watch your video.
I'm not like, you seem very angry, dude.
Dude, I just think you're an idiot, okay? And when you put up a title like that,
you haven't given me one thing I said that was incorrect.
All right, well, I'm happy to talk to anybody else in the panel, but I'm not interested.
You don't want to talk to me?
You have to say.
All right, Brian. I'll ask the same question.
I would like to talk to Shapiro real quick.
Somebody else jump in.
Brian.
I think that really got to you, dude. I had a whole thing to answer your question. I really wanted to answer your question about Trump. I'm not mad at you. I'm a Knicks fan, bro. I'm not mad at you. I do this for other people too. They don't get upset. If you want me to change the thumbnail,
Andrew. Think about the logistics of all liberals.
Where he has like a cult thing on. He doesn't care. He comes on my channel.
Andrew. He's a liberal. They cry about everything.
Right,
they complain and they're victims.
Everybody shut up. Everybody shut up. I mean,
I just want to respond to what he just said.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Andrew, actually, if you don't mind, I'll clear the room and let you two have this conversation. I know Andrew can be respectful, and this way nobody else can interrupt with you.
That's fine. So I appreciate that. The guy who just said I'm a liberal, first of all, if you want to talk about people that cry and complain, he should probably refer to a guy by the name of Donald J. Trump, who has thinner skin and is more insecure than a 12-year-old girl. Last I checked, Donald Trump is not a liberal. If you want to paint me in a corner and call me a liberal to the buffoon who just made that statement, I've been a registered independent my whole life. There's nothing wrong with being a liberal. But if you think liberals are the ones that cry and that complain, then maybe we should talk about Donald Trump, who literally shares his grievances every single day in every single press conference. So as far as that guy who just said, all liberals do is cry, maybe you should look at the orange orangutan, who again has thinner skin than your average insecure 12-year-old girl. Andrew, I don't like it when people mock others, which is what you did in a moment that I thought was very disingenuous on your part. When I'm trying to throw somebody an olive branch, and I'm trying to have a humanizing moment with somebody about loss. And the reason why I brought that up, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with getting emotional when you're talking about your loved ones. The reason why I even brought that up is to say we're all human beings. We all have horrible loss in our life. Life is really short, and I don't like telling other people what to do. Now, you can title anything you want. I'm not saying what you did is against the law. I'm not saying what you did is against YouTube. No, unfortunately, I've had this issue with a lot of people. They'll label titles a certain way, and you'll probably clip this up and say, liberal Brian Shapiro is angry at me for my, you can do whatever you want, dude. But when you do something like that, I think you lose credibility. Okay. That's what I think.
Fair enough. And I did not intend, I really tried to be fair in that video. That's why I emailed it to you. I wasn't trying to and you can see I'm consistent. Like I was trying to say, just so that you see it's not just you. If you look on my page, I have other lives with people I'm friends with unflattering thumbnails of them. So I'm not like it's not a personal thing to you. It's really not. I
didn't see any of your other videos, Andrew. I'll be honest with you. I watched maybe 30 seconds of your video, and I saw the title. And if you disagree with somebody, or you think I'm wrong about a topic, I think that's great. That's fine. But I didn't just get this from you. I got it from a lot of other people, and it's frustrating. If people want to disagree with me on a political topic, I think that's great. I enjoy that. But when you put up a title and you make it like you're in a negative fashion when somebody gets emotional talking about their loved ones. I just think that's low class, man. I think that's really low class. Okay. And I think you're wrong in doing that. I think that was a jerk thing to do.
You also just said you only watched 30 seconds of the video. And in all
I'm talking about the title.
Right, but you said I only watched 30 seconds of your video. You just said that. So what I'm saying is if you watched it through, you would see that I'm constantly saying, guys, this is what Brian's saying. This is what Andrew's saying. Who's right? And I'm looking for the chat to tell me who's right. I'm not saying Andrew and Rachel are right. You can go back and watch it. It's still up.
You can take
that.
You don't have to take my advice.
I will.
Go, for what it's worth, you can just say, Brian, I don't care what you have to say, and that's fine.
I'm not saying
but if you want more views and you want more content that a lot of people watch, then talk about the issues and title something differently. Who cares if somebody got emotional during a debate? That doesn't mean somebody won or lost. Like, I don't understand the bearing of it. If you disagree with me on, I don't know, feminism or whatever I said in the debate, okay, then focus on that, right? I had Warren Smith on my show last week. It'll probably be, I used to have him on every week. It'll probably be the last time he ever does my show because he's very disingenuous with the things he says about me. And I addressed it with him head on when he came on the show last week. People can be honest or they can be dishonest.
I apologize if that upset you. I did not mean to do it personally to you. And if it really bothers you, I would change the thumbnail. I don't care that
let me
much.
ask you a question.
I actually want to give you the answer to the question you were asking.
Okay, but hold on.
I have the answer.
Okay, hang on. We'll get to that.
Okay, please.
Put yourself in my shoes for a moment. Let's just say you lost a couple members of your family in a tragic accident. And you're debating somebody on another topic. And in a moment, you get emotional because you're talking about members of your family. And then somebody way on the left puts up a video with the title, right winger, MAGA dope or whatever, gets emotional and cries during a debate. How would you feel about that?
I would not feel good if people were.
Okay, that's my point.
And I'm agreeing with you. I'm not like being a dick here. That's
my point. Okay, then that's my point.
Would you like me to change the thumbnail?
No, you don't have to do that. I'm just telling you, when I see stuff like that, that's how I react to it. I call people MAGA buffoons. I call people a lot of names. I'm not Mr. Nice to everybody, right? There's a reason why I got here. And it's not because I'm just nice to everybody, right? I'm a very opinionated guy, but when someone's getting emotional over the loss of a couple people, a couple family members, I'm just not gonna knock them for that, man. As much as I hate Donald Trump, I know he's not capable of crying. I don't think he's ever cried in his life. But if he got emotional about the loss of a loved one, I certainly wouldn't mock him for that. I'd feel sorrow for him for that. And that's just how I am. I feel sorry for people that go through pain in their life.
Obviously, if you're a real man, you obviously release real emotions because you have real feelings and stuff. But you also wouldn't need to explain it away so hard, right? I mean, we don't need to explain if we cry because we're emotional from the unfortunate loss of loved ones or anything. You know what I mean? Like it's like
that's a real problem.
To me, it looks feminine to mock someone who's giving a real emotion. And I'm not even talking about Andrew.
I agree.
I'm not talking about Andrew.
Wait. So Brian, you agree?
I was in the hospital. I was crying for 2 days while she's in the hospital. Am I afraid to admit that? Of course not.
I kind of want to jump in.
LG, go ahead, jump in there.
Yeah, is Pushing the Limits your YouTube page?
Yes.
At PTL
that's your
radio
YouTube
show.
page. Well, I'm looking at actually a picture of a thumbnail and the headline for it. And it's, I think, an AI picture of a stock image of someone crying, and it's you making fun of some MAGA supporter admitting they were wrong, and you're depicting them as crying in like a insulting way. Oh, I thought you said
I'll respond to that.
I thought you said it's bad to insult somebody for showing emotion.
Yeah,
Why are you making fun of this person for crying?
I'll respond to that. So first of all, I don't choose the thumbnails. I have editors that do that, but I'll still respond to that. Wow. I think there's a very big difference between losing a debate or losing an argument in an AI picture and depicting someone as crying or making fun of somebody for getting emotional because they lost people. Do you not understand the difference there? Losing a debate.
It's all clickbait and everyone's guilty of it. That's the truth.
Okay. I think there's a line that you shouldn't cross. If you're talking about somebody crying because they lost an argument as a metaphor, and then mocking somebody because, as I did, got emotional because I was talking about the loss of members of my family, Those are two completely different things. Now, if you don't understand the difference, then I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. You said that it's wrong to make fun of any man for showing emotion. So
he wasn't crying.
Now,
at least
now you're changing what you said.
He wasn't crying. By the way, he wasn't crying. That was an AI picture of somebody who called into my show. He never got emotional. He never cried. That was a thumbnail that somebody had used. And he didn't actually cry. I was actually crying, and I was actually emotional talking about my family.
Was the thumbnail used on your channel?
Different. We could say that it's different, but it is what you did, right? Still,
you don't think context matters at all?
No, I could agree that it's
making fun of men crying, which we think was the argument.
But is that a good? Is that like a right thing of depicting someone as crying that isn't crying and making fun of them?
So basically, dude, what you're doing is saying Andrew can't use a thumbnail.
I didn't say that.
You used it, and now you're up here saying you're a victim. That is the typical libertarian bullshit.
Hold on. Let me find some common ground for everyone. Number one, it's YouTube. Anyone can write anything. Anyone can make any thumbnail. We all know that there's plenty of shitty thumbnails and the aging potato type of shit out there on me. Like, it hurts my feelings, but I can't go around telling people don't do that, right? And I think that it's fair game on the internet to a degree. There is a degree, right? You obviously can't slander and say things that aren't true, so on and so forth.
Can I just give some context? Like, if I debated somebody, hold on, just give me 20 seconds here, and then I'll shut up. If somebody did a thumbnail about me and I debated somebody and they did an AI picture of me crying, I would actually think that's probably funny. The point that I was trying to make is when somebody actually is really emotional about the loss of a loved one, I think that's a line that you shouldn't cross, and I would never do that. If we're talking about an AI video to get clicks and you debated somebody and I got this liberal to cry, it's very different context, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. And I also didn't tell Andrew to take it down, and I've said multiple times he has the right to do that. Okay?
Did you portray him as crying? The subject of your thumbnail, subject of your video, did you portray him as crying?
Is what I'm saying not registering with you at all?
It's registering.
This is going back and forth. I'm going to have to act like a New Yorker and aggressively push myself in. First off, I want to change the topic. Sarah, thanks again for having me on here. Brian, I want to change the topic. But first, I just want to add real quick, and then we can end this topic. You are on the internet. You should be used to criticism. And if you weren't in the right state of mind, I had people pass away. I know what you feel like. My condolences. But if you're not in the right state of mind, you shouldn't be doing internet contact until you're in the right state of mind. Would you agree?
What do you mean by right state of mind? I mean, I'm entitled to my opinions just like you are. I think somebody that mocks somebody,
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, all right, so I got 3 kids. If one of my kids passed away, I'm not going to be on the internet talking to people about political crap because I'm not in the right state of mind. Would you agree?
Yeah, but that didn't happen to me.
No. I just want to end it right there. That's all I wanted to ask. Now, I kind of want to change the topic in general. Thank you for that. I want your opinions because I know you're for the LGBTQ plus ABCDEFG community, right?
I mean, I don't know why you would label it ABCDEFG. That's
but
I just don't want to tell other people what to do with their lives as long as it's not against the law.
He's making fun of the ever-expanding.
Cool. Hold up. We're going to get on a tangent. I kind of want, you know what? I want Brian.
Just ask it in an intelligent. So ask it in an intelligent way. Don't say you're.
Well, I got to dumb it down for you based on the videos I saw of you. So let me explain.
Well, if you're going to insult me, then why do I want to even listen to you before you?
Yeah, I agree.
No,
just
yes, you are.
Okay,
if you have a question about the LGBT community, then don't label it as ABCDEFG because you sound like.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I'll agree to that. But that's my fault. I'll agree to that. I shouldn't have done that. I should have labeled it correctly. But that's going to bring me to one of my points that you people are obsessed with labels. Now, again, I got 3 kids, 2 of which are girls. You didn't understand what I just said?
Anyways. I'm obsessed with labels. You're the guys who carry about he, she. I don't ever talk about that stuff.
Weren't you just like getting mad at me that I like mislabeled the LGBTQ community?
No, I'm not mad at you. I just think that the way you're phrasing the question makes you sound like a moron. But go ahead.
All right. So you're obsessed with the label being correctly identified. Correct.
Well, if you're going to ask me a question and you want me to give you an intelligent answer, then ask it the right way. Don't ask it like an asshole.
Am I just proving a small little point here? Everybody else on the panel, right? Everybody sees what I'm talking about, right?
Dude, just
what
ask,
is the
just
question?
Ask your question, dude.
What is the question?
He says question.
Why do you think it's okay for men to enter girls' restrooms, public spaces, and sports?
So why do you think it's okay to judge me without even knowing my opinion on it? You just phrased the question instead of asking, hey, how do you feel about transgender women in women's sports? Instead of asking the question like that, you assume you know the answer, again, which makes you sound like an asshole. By the way, I'm going to prove it right now. You have no fucking idea what my position is on it, and I'm going to answer it. You just judged it, which makes you sound stupid. I've said on national television, CNN, Fox News, Piers Morgan, OAN, that I have never agreed that transgender women should compete with other women. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think it's okay to judge people that don't think exactly like you think and think you know the answer to what their beliefs are when you have no fucking idea? And I just proved it.
Well,
Mr.
actually,
ABC,
you didn't answer the other question. So
okay, but
it's
it's
not
judging,
about
right?
beliefs. That's why I'm pretty sure I asked if you're for that community.
I'll answer the rest of your question. But first, let me just respectfully ask, and there's a reason why I'm asking this, and then I promise you I'll answer your question. Did you vote for Donald Trump? There's a reason why I'm asking.
Probably.
Okay, thank you. So why did you vote for the guy who talked about going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission? You seem to care so much about the trans issue and about transgender women going into women's locker rooms, but yet you had no problem voting for the guy who bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms without their permission and bragged about it sexually on the Howard Stern show. So why would you support somebody like that if you're going to ask me that fucking question?
That seems like a very dishonest reframing of what actually happened.
Well, not only that, but he didn't answer my question. So you agree men shouldn't be in female sports? No. I'll answer your question. I asked you, look, you're interrupting, liberal. Relax. I asked you two simple questions. You answered one. I'll give you that, but you failed to answer the other one. Very simple question.
Okay, I'll answer the other one, but will you promise to answer mine after I give you an answer about Donald Trump?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So unless somebody could show me an actual study that transgender women have a higher risk.
Not transgender women, men entering female restrooms. I'm not talking about transgender women. I'm talking about a man like me and all the other cats on this panel, men that had no transition done to them. Enter the female's restroom. You're trying to reframe the question. I'm not going
wearing women's clothing, right?
I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, wearing women's clothing, you're saying?
Okay.
Yes.
I think that so how do we check that at the restroom? How do we check if somebody is transgender or not? Or if
they have a beard, that would tell me.
Okay, so how do we test that? How do we
see a beard?
Well, hold on, Brian. I'm going to answer your question. And then we'll go back to what I just stated, because I did say I will answer that, and I'll try to my best of my abilities. Because you go down the rabbit hole of what Trump did or didn't do, or what Biden did and didn't do, and it's a whole skew of shit.
Because it makes you a hypocrite, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, both parties are hypocrites. I'm not MAGA. I'm not Republican. I'm conservative. Both parties are fucking hypocrites. I don't think Trump is a great president. I chose the lesser of two evils. I would rather have Trump, regardless if he's a sexual fucking deviant, which none of it has been proven, than cackling Harris or sleepy Joe Biden, which there's a lot of evidence on him too of being, a little wacky with little people. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about that. So you mentioned,
with him being in the pageant. I'm trying to answer your question, bro.
Well, you
with him being in like. No, I said why I voted for him. I didn't give you my actual answer. I'm trying to be, what's the word? Like, compliant,
cordial,
back and forth. I don't know the full extent of him saying what he said. There's a lot of fucking propaganda out there on what he did. But if he did do that, I condone him for that. He shouldn't be doing that shit. But we can criticize parties all day long. I vote based on what the candidate says, and they can lie. That sucks. That's
okay. So let me just respond to that. What's your threshold? You don't care about what they do. You don't care.
No. I didn't say that.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Kamala,
so
you said you didn't like Kamala because
he said
she
lesser of two
cackle,
evils.
right?
We have to be fair. He
Yeah.
did say, you did kind of.
I did say lesser evil. So, all right.
Why is Kamala evil?
He said he doesn't. He voted for
Well, hold on.
lesser
Yeah. Let me ask you a question because I just answered your question about, Trump. Let's say he did say that. I fucking condone it. And I'll say that real quick. I don't think Trump is a great president. And hopefully nobody on this panel that thinks he does gets mad at me for that. He's not a great president. He's a good president, lesser of two evils.
Sir, hold on. You do understand the difference between condone and condemn, do you not? You've been saying
condemn.
condone this whole
You're
time.
right. Yeah, condemn.
Okay.
Now, now let me ask you another question. Do you say you don't call Trump a fascist? Do you think he can be a fascist, or he's leading into fascism? Like he's trying to consolidate power to be a fascist, a dictator? Do you believe that's what he's trying to do?
I'll answer that, but let's really talk about Kamala's cackle because that's very important to this conversation.
Well, back and forth. Questions for questions. Questions for questions.
Brian, you like Kamala, honestly?
Hold on, I'll answer that. I'll answer a lot of questions. Let me just respond. But I do find it interesting that you are unaware. And by the way, this is not propaganda. I'm not bringing up propaganda. All you have to do is go on YouTube right now and look at the comments he made on the Howard Stern show. That's not propaganda. I'm using his own.
I mean, that's Howard Stern, man. Like, come on, man.
So that makes it okay.
Anybody that goes on that show, you know.
Okay, gotcha. So it's just Howard
So what are you
Stern.
cherry picking out of Howard Stern?
Also, hold on. There are already several women that have come forward that have done interviews that were teenagers.
No, incredible.
Okay, so they're not credible, but Donald Trump is. Okay, you're not credible.
Anecdotes.
I asked you a question, bro. You can't answer.
Hold on. I want to hear what I want to hear what Ant has to say, please. Ant, you were chiming in on something there.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little aggressive, but I'm just saying it's like these allegations are just that. They are purely anecdotal, and without anything to support them, it's completely unfalsifiable.
Yeah. Okay. So unfalsifiable. I didn't even know that was a word. Okay. So
you've never heard of this? You've never heard of this?
So let me respond to what you just said. So first of all,
about
you say
Trump trying to consolidate power to be a fascist.
Hold on. Let him talk for fuck's sake. Let him fucking talk. It's him versus all of you. Have you
I don't know if I'm necessarily against.
Well, yeah, but you're being polite.
Well, that was his choice.
Yeah. So first of all, you said they're just claims. So first of all, Donald Trump is the guy who said it. Okay. It's not just you just had several women that said, hey, he went into this locker room without our permission. You actually had Donald Trump admit it, sexualize it, and say it. Now, I could name you a lot of Democrats that have done the Howard Stern show. They've never admitted to going into a locker room without teenage girls' permission and storming in there. And by the way, there's also context.
It wasn't teenage girls.
They were 16, 17-year-old girls.
No, this was a
context.
18 and over.
Howard Stern show, they were talking about Miss USA.
Yeah. Hold on. There's also context to this. Okay. It's not
I thought I condemned his actions. I thought we moved past this. I asked you if you think that Trump is trying to be a fascist dictator.
I think he's a wannabe dictator. Yes. I've never called him
now
a fascist.
Do you think Biden?
Hold on. Okay. Let me just answer. Let me just give you why I feel that way. I've never used the term fascist. I don't compare him to Hitler, even though I have said on the record that I think.
Yeah, I never heard you call him that. I'll give you that. That's why I asked you.
I've heard some of the verbiage that Stephen Miller has used, and I think you can compare some of his language to Adolf Hitler, but I've never referred to Donald Trump that way. Here's why I think he's a wannabe dictator. He writes love letters to Kim Jong-un, never has said anything negative about Vladimir Putin or Assad. He looks up to evil, murderous dictators. He kisses their ass. And when I look at, and he rolled out.
Isn't his idol JFK actually? Isn't his idol JFK?
He rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. He called Zelensky a dictator, and he said Zelensky was the one who started the war. When it comes to Kim Jong-un, he sent his love letters back and forth to Kim Jong-un. I can also tell you that he's far more aggressive with elected officials on the left. He actually threatened 6 elected Democrats 3 months ago and alluded to the fact that
nothing to do with this.
Well,
Brian, we just watched him attack.
Trying to connect dots.
I'm trying to explain why I think he's a dictator. He does not respect the rule of law. Look at the deal he just did with the IRS.
He's always obeyed the law.
Really?
He has always obeyed the court decisions. Just because he challenges something does not mean he doesn't respect it. It just means that he's assertive and is willing to stand up for his.
2016, man. We're all falling for this shit right now. You guys understand? You guys understand that everyone going super bro, where we don't condemn, grab them by the pussy, is a result of the overbalance of the LGBTQI plus extended version. So all we're doing right now, everybody here, is we're I think the reason why we came on here is to talk about Massie getting overthrown. Was it Trump? Was it this? Was it that? And maybe we can all find some common ground.
Wait, don't slut shame women.
Just
I think you need to read the rest of that quote. The quote was, "Women, let me grab them." Why are you slut shaming women for what they want?
So you have over 30 women that have accused Donald Trump of rape or sexual assault. Now, another reason why I wanted to come on is because I'm going to talk a little bit about this tomorrow, is the slush fund that Donald Trump has put together, which is $1.7 billion. So that was the other topic that I'm certainly going to talk about a little bit tomorrow, which I think is despicable.
There are accusations.
I'd like to do a couple super chats if you gentlemen don't mind. I'm a little bit behind. Sure. And then I want to hand it. I know Jason just got here. He's a little restricted on time, so I do want to hand him the mic after. And then we'll move over to Kai. And we'll kind of play with that and see where everyone wants to go. Iotin in with Big Ten says, and these are a little behind, so I do apologize to those who sent in the supers. Iotin said, it's more that you brought up someone else's tragic circumstance in specific detail. You can always feel free to bring up your own, but you need to stop airing out other people's. And that was regarding the Rachel Wilson debacle.
I'll respond to that.
Sure.
I'll respond to that, and I completely disagree. That was an olive branch that I was throwing out to understand that we all go through loss. The reason why I brought it up, and by the way, I didn't go into detail. All I simply said is, I'm sorry for the loss of your 10-year-old son. And the reason why I brought it up, and I think most logical people would understand, was to prove a point that we know that life is very precious. Life is very short. We all go through tragedies in our life. And because of that, because we actually have something like that in common, and I said, I wish we didn't. The reason why I brought that up is to prove that, let people do what they want to do, whether they're a man or a woman. If they want to be a lawyer or a doctor, let them do it. And don't tell other people what to do. That was the whole reason why I brought that up. It wasn't to mock her, which I never would do because of losing a 10-year-old. I would never do that. As much as I dislike her, and I think she's an awful human being, and I can give you a number of reasons why, I would never, ever mock somebody or make fun of somebody because they lost a family member in a tragic car accident. So anybody who makes a statement like that doesn't seem to understand why I brought it up in the first place. But I think most people do. I've actually talked to some I won't mention names, but I've talked to some very influential people, for lack of a better term, on the right that are friends of mine. And they said, Brian, I understand why you brought that up. You were trying to throw an olive branch and say, hey, we both have tragedy. It's horrible. I was trying to humanize the situation. And unfortunately, some people don't seem to understand that. So it's fine. If you disagree with me, you have the right to disagree.
Don't you think you should have went to her beforehand and asked her for permission?
Hold on. Let me get through.
Yeah. I'll answer that. That was a good question.
Go ahead.
So I'm glad you brought that up. Shouldn't you have asked before? Yep. So before the actual debate, I actually wanted to talk to them and shake their hand and be cordial. They both declined. I actually wanted to have that conversation with them. I wanted it to be cordial. And they're just terrible people. I tried to be nice. I tried to shake their hands. I wanted to have a private conversation with both of them before the debate, even though we have our differences. So I can walk away from that saying I tried to be cordial. They didn't want to play that game. I was out there to be the villain. That's why they paid me to go out there, and it's fine. I don't regret it at all.
So if you thought that you had like an obligation to maybe get a permission before saying it, and you didn't,
I don't think I needed permission.
Didn't receive the permission. Why did you go ahead and do it anyway? Don't you think bringing up something traumatic?
So I'll answer that.
Without someone's permission, is it pretty wrong of you, actually?
Yeah, so I completely disagree with you. I don't need permission to bring something like that up. If somebody doesn't like it and doesn't understand it, then that's their fucking problem. I didn't need any permission. The point that I was trying to make is I wanted to try to be cordial to them before the debate. and they refuse to do so because they have their issues with me, and I really don't care. All I know is I know what's in my heart, and I know why I brought that up. And if people can't understand that or don't get it, it's the same reason why, while I wasn't a huge Joe Biden fan, he wasn't my first, second, or third choice.
Thank God.
The one thing that always resonated with me when Joe Biden spoke, the one thing was when he talked about loss. And that was important to me. Things are important to different people. Everybody votes for different reasons. But the man does have empathy. I've criticized him a lot. I think he's one of the main reasons why Trump won again. But when he talked about empathy and he talked about grief, something that I don't think Donald Trump has, that resonated with me because he lost his wife and his daughter in a car accident. So when he talked, and I told him that when I met him in Vegas, I said, when you talk about empathy, it resonates with me. And having a brief conversation, that meant a lot to me. So, if people don't understand why I brought that up in the debate, then, I don't
Brian,
know.
do you hold this?
It felt like it derailed the conversation, Brian.
Yeah, let's move on. Dixon sends in a Dragon Fist membership. Shout out to that lucky lottery winner. Congratulations. And of course, Mr. Tom Carpenter, with all the kindness in his heart. He is a rock star over here at the Raging Tomato and on the Gauntlet. Sent out 10 Raging Tomato memberships, and that is the gift that keeps on giving, folks. We love you so much, Tom. Tomatoes in the chat for Tom. Booger Man says, I could debate anyone at this point. I mean, typically anyone here can. And of course, Mr. Tom is taking his leave for the evening, but he sent in the boot to get Kraut backstage so I could bring up whoever I wanted to bring up, and I did so. Dixon says, Brian is obsessed with Trump. Are you obsessed with Trump, Brian?
Well, that would mean that Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, I guess they're all obsessed with Donald Trump. So let me just explain to this person what I do for a living, because I don't think this person understands. I'm not a professional debater. I don't do this for a living. What I do is I do a news talk show. When you're a news talk show host, my job is to talk about the news of the day, the news of the week. I cover the news. I cover, just like when Biden was president, I covered his press conferences. I cover what members of his administration says. So it's my job to cover the news. So to say that I'm obsessed would be like saying Fox News and Sean Hannity and all these people on the far right, Tim Pool, they're obsessed with Donald Trump too. It's my job to cover the news every day. So it's not really. Now, if Donald Trump's not president anymore and I'm talking about Donald Trump every day, then I would 100% agree with you. But I'm not going to do that. When he leaves office, I'm going to be covering the news of the day. So that's my job.
You do a news show
can I jump in
like
there?
Nick Fuentes.
Hold on, Kai. Hold on.
No, I don't do a show like Nick Fuentes. To answer your question, sir, no, I don't.
A news show like Nick Fuentes.
No, Nick Fuentes doesn't do a news show. He just gives opinions, and he doesn't cover the news of the day. So no, I disagree with you. And by the way, I also don't go after entire groups of people and label them as something. I don't do that. I've never even done that with Trump supporters, where I say every Trump supporter is this or that. So no, I'm the opposite of Nick Fuentes. I don't take entire groups of people and attack them because of their sexuality. By the way, I do think Nick Fuentes has his own issues when it comes to that.
That's kind of obvious. That's kind of obvious.
All right.
Earlier in this panel.
I know Sparky is on a time limit, so I wanted to let Jason cut in. He was another one of the few that I invited directly. Jason, if you'd like to talk to Brian, and then after we let you guys get through your banter, I'm going to kick it over to Kai.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jason.
And thank you for coming through tonight, Brian.
Sure.
I've watched several of your videos. I've responded to some of your tweets, some of which you've deleted, and honestly, I'm kind of thankful that you did. Your apology to Rachel Wilson following the debate, your earnest apology, your heartfelt condolences, and everything.
That wasn't an apology.
I know it wasn't, but you did delete it.
Do you know why it was deleted? Do you know why? Do you know why
Why?
it was? I actually talked about this on the radio, and that's okay. I'll explain that to you. The reason why I deleted it, because I was the highest trending story on Twitter, and I took the screenshot and I put it up. And in that Twitter statement, I got probably 20 text messages from people that said, Brian, why are you apologizing to Rachel Wilson? And I still have the screenshot, because on Twitter for 3 hours that morning, the next day, I was the #1 story trending. And it said, podcaster,
it wasn't an apology.
Liberal podcaster Brian Shapiro apologizes to Rachel Wilson for losing debate. The reason why I deleted it is because people thought it was a genuine apology and they weren't watching the whole video. I don't I don't feel bad or for anything that I said to her. I think she's a despicable human being. I think she's a hypocrite, and she deserves it. In that debate that we did, I said, don't you think it's okay for women if they don't find a man by the age of 30 or 35, that they should be able to live their life? What are they supposed to do if they can't find a man? You know what she said? Well, maybe you shouldn't sleep with 50 women. She was slut shaming every woman in this country that doesn't have kids after the age of 30. So you're damn right. I'm going to give it right back to her because I think she deserves it. I match people's energy. If you're going to slut shame all these women, then I'll do the same thing to you and see how you like it. That's exactly what I did to her. I didn't delete it for any other reason other than the fact that Twitter, for whatever reason, when you're the highest, I don't know, trending story, they got the fucking title wrong. And that pissed me off. That's the only reason why I took it down. I don't want people thinking I'm apologizing to her. I don't apologize to them for anything. I think they're both horrible people. So I hope I answered your question.
That really wasn't the question. I just thought that was interesting. But no, I find some of the things that you comment on, I find it to be a little accusatory. You accuse people of several things.
Tell me.
Well, everyone who happens to support Trump is what do you call him, a cock gobbler?
Not true. No.
Well, what is it?
Yeah. I'll respond. So first of all, as I say again, I've never categorized every single person who's voted for Donald Trump as this. What I have said is, and I think you're referring to the term Trump mushroom gobbler, which is So here's what I mean by that. There are people in this country, and I would say a lot of people in Trump's administration, that are incapable of criticizing Trump for. They can't criticize him for anything. So you're performing, in my opinion, verbal fellatio on the president. Now I could go to Jack Posobiec.
Have I once said that he's done anything right or wrong?
I'm not referring.
Sorry, Shaman.
I'm not. Hold on a second.
Let me talk,
sir.
Please.
I'm not referring to you because I don't know what your opinions are on anything. When I use that term, on social media, I'm usually directing it at people like Stephanie Miller, or I'm directing it on people like JD Vance, or I'm directing it on the right-wing grifters on social media like the Nick Shirleys and others that are not capable of calling out Donald Trump for anything, or people that call into my radio show that say the dumbest things. They can't criticize Trump for anything. They still think he won the 2020 election. And when I bring up
because he did.
Okay, well, that makes you a Trump mushroom gobbler.
Well, that's great. Let's have that debate right now, Brian, because
it's not a debate. It's not even worth the conversation.
Really? Because after the 2020 election, I watched.
I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to debate people.
That's fine. I'm going to speak about it, and we'll have that after the fact, Brian, because I watched after the 2020 election 10 plus hours of election workers coming under oath, citing all of their irregularities of that election with everything. So for all those folks that showed up on January,
sure, let's talk about that. So they've had 6 years to come up with any evidence of something called widespread voter fraud. Donald Trump lost 61 out of 62 court cases. Almost half of those judges
lost one case.
Judges.
He lost one case, and 63 were not heard.
Not
so
true.
No, if you're going to be a newscaster, Brian, you got to be accurate, and you're not.
Okay, here we go. So they ruled that there was no merit. Okay, he did not win any of those cases.
They didn't decide on it. They didn't hear the case.
The
judges. We had latches. We didn't have standing. We didn't have any of that stuff, Brian.
Sir, okay, I'm sorry to break it. Hold on. I'm sorry to break it to all of you, but nobody has been able to prove any widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election. It's not a conversation. The earth is not flat. If you guys actually truly believe that Trump won the 2000, if you guys actually believe that Trump won the 2020 election with literally no evidence of widespread voter fraud, then I'm just not even going to have a conversation with you. I'm sorry.
You believe Trump is a rapist with absolutely no
Arizona? On Georgia. You're all talking at the same time. Let's use our brains.
So let me please continue with this real quick, because I've only got a few minutes, and I'm appreciative to Brian come over here to the Panelverse and talk to us. So instead of trying to get you to spurg out, Brian, like some of these people are doing, I'm actually wanting to talk to you. You have come out with some very inflammatory things. One thing was your interview your interview with the family that shoved the former InfoWars
Savannah Hernandez.
Yes, Savannah Hernandez, where you said you did not condone political violence, yet you did justify. You did justify. You did sweep.
What did I say
for a grown ass man? Oh well.
What did I say?
You basically.
What did I say to justify the push? What did I say?
If
Tell me.
If you give me a moment, I'll say it. You were talking. You gave the attorney's statement about how he was defending his daughter, and you agreed with it even after seeing the video. Where
what did I say?
You basically you parroted his freaking attorney.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
The fuck
no,
you
I
didn't.
The
fuck you didn't.
Okay. Well, first of all,
let's not say the F word.
Yeah. So first of all, I did 4 or 5 interviews, which I guess you didn't see. I did an interview on. Okay, so let me just explain to you my position because once again, there's nothing more frustrating than people that don't understand my position that assume
I'm giving
things
you that
about
opportunity.
Me.
I want to learn. I want to know.
Okay.
That.
Well, you could ask the question instead of saying the fuck you did. So CNN, Fox News, OAN, even Pierce Morgan. I've said the same thing in any interview. They're all on YouTube if you want to watch them. Here's what I said. Savannah Hernandez is an awful human being. She's a grifter. She has zero credibility. She's not a journalist. With that being said, mistakes were made on both sides. Chris should not have put his hands on her. I've had private conversations with the family. That was absolutely a mistake. It was also a mistake to do some of the things that Savannah Hernandez did that day. So I've said that over and over and over again. The attorney's statement is very different than my opinion. And if you're talking about James and Trisha, who are representing them, their position and what they're going to fight in court. And by the way, you're innocent until proven guilty.
You are.
Their position is, and I've seen a lot of videos, Savannah Hernandez did make the first physical contact. Now, I am not condoning blowing a whistle in somebody's face either. Now, she was trying to, and I've studied this case extensively. I don't just give an opinion on one video. She tried to push the whistle out of the daughter's hand. In that process, she smacked the daughter in the face. Now, even if that was accidental, that got a reaction. I think most of us would react if we're smacked in the face to defend ourselves. Now, there were mistakes made on both sides. I understand that there were charges that were filed. Never in a million years have I ever condoned violence on either side. Both sides made mistakes. We'll see where the chips fall where they may in the actual case. But I've been very consistent from the beginning. And by the way, I've had interactions with Savannah dating back 3 years. She's a terrible human being. I'm not saying I condone violence against somebody because they're a bad person or because Brian thinks they're a bad person or a fake journalist. But Savannah's also a liar. She's refused to show any medical records of her having a concussion. The next day when she said she had a concussion, she did the Laura Ingraham show, she did the Glenn Beck show, and she did like 4 podcasts, okay? She also fucked over one of my friends at OAN. She did an interview on OAN. They told her not to release the interview yet. She released it. She doesn't care. She just has zero credibility. This is a family who has never been arrested for anything in their life. They've had death threats. They've had people show up to their door saying that the wife and the daughter are going to be raped. The daughter had to go to another school. That man made a mistake. Okay.
Yeah, he did.
But that doesn't mean that the entire family should have to suffer and their lives should be ruined forever. So I will defend them in that category. I don't believe their lives should be destroyed forever. They've lost both their jobs. They have no money. They've had tons of death threats. I don't care who you are. Nobody deserves death threats.
Yeah, it really sucks to shove a poor defenseless woman in the back and knock her down. That is what he did.
So what did I say to defend that?
Well, you're complaining about how they lost their jobs. Maybe you shouldn't do that.
I'm not
against someone out in public.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining, sir. I'm giving you context in my opinions. Not in this conversation or any conversation have I defended any form of violence. I've said nobody should put their hands on anybody. I've never condoned violence, whether it be Black Lives Matter or January 6th, or whether it be Charlie Kirk or any of the assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Never once have I ever condoned it. In fact, I've always spoken against it, always. But I gave that family an opportunity to come on to give their side of the story, just like I gave Savannah Hernandez the opportunity. But guess what? Savannah hasn't done any interviews with anybody other than right-wing media. That family did an interview on OAN. They did an interview on my show. If Savannah actually did an interview where she would be questioned or pushed on something in a metaphorical sense, then I would have a little bit more respect for her. But you know what she did? only right-wing shows because Savannah is a coward. At least that family was willing to go on right-wing media and answer tough questions. Savannah's not willing to do that because she's an imbecile.
Well, I'll ask you this. One of your biggest things is you said that she hasn't proven that she has, that she had a concussion. She suffered a concussion. Let me ask you this. Since there's going to be litigation, do you think that maybe her lawyers have probably given her instructions not to share those things? Also, furthermore,
can I answer that? Can I just answer that real quickly?
Let me finish my statement and I will let you talk, I swear. Okay? Because I want you to think about this for a moment. As a legal strategy, they probably would tell her not to release that stuff because you don't want that stuff coming out until the actual court case. Because first they're going to do the criminal, then they're going to do the civil. Yes, she probably will sue them into oblivion, which I don't know if they deserve that, but that's neither here nor there. Furthermore, no one owes anyone their medical history unless it is relevant to something of public interest. What the public interest is in this is that someone lost their cool and assaulted an individual who was not doing anything other than existing in a space. I used to do riot coverage and stuff like that. I used to go in the middle of riots. People would assault me and things like that. And I would leave them alone. I wouldn't even say anything. I would just film.
Yeah. Can I ask you something about that?
She wasn't doing that. She was asking questions. Yes, go ahead.
I just want to make sure you're consistent. I understand your statement about somebody being pushed to the ground. You would agree with me that you're not a hostage or a patriot if you beat a cop, right?
No, I'm sorry. What?
I want to know if you will call out all forms of violence for the people that beat cops on January 6th, who Donald Trump called patriots and hostages, and now there's a slush fund. You would agree that that's wrong as well, right?
So I was actually at Jan 6. I actually saw some of the things, and the day that happened, I actually stated that violence that happened at the Capitol was uncalled for and unwarranted, although I do understand why people are upset.
Okay, but Donald Trump called everybody that day hostages and patriots who were convicted. Would you agree with me that if you beat a cop, and there were people that beat cops, there's videos of it, as you know, if you beat a cop on January 6th, you're not a hostage and you're not a patriot. Is that a fair thing to say?
I don't think cops are
civilians
without any means blameless.
So you're not
honestly,
so you're not willing to say that
you can beat a cop and be a fucking patriot. You absolutely can. Now, I'm not saying everyone on January. No, I'm not saying everyone on January 6th is a patriot.
No, you can be a patriot against
but you can be a patriot and beat a fucking cop.
You can be a patriot against the federal
civil
government.
servants, and when they overstep the boundaries,
let me rephrase my question. Let me rephrase my question.
You can be a patriot against the government.
And also, Brian, there were provocateurs out on January 6th.
Hold on, let me rephrase my question.
Don't go there.
For the people that in a court of law were convicted based on evidence of assaulting police officers and battery, are those people who were convicted in a court of law based on evidence like video and otherwise, or the people that beat Officer Fanone to a point where he had a heart attack, or for the people that bear sprayed Brian Sitnick, for the people that lost fingers, for the officers, some of them who have traumatic brain injury, and those people, those criminals who were convicted in a court of law, who had the opportunity to defend themselves, those specific people, are those people hostages and patriots?
I believe that the government was a little heavy-handed the way they treated them in their jail. Does
anyone disagree that political violence is bad on both sides? Is there anyone?
The reason why they were so heavy-handed, just like Jason and my good friend of the name of Enrique Tarrio, Joe Biden weaponized the Department of Justice and.
Oh my God!
I actually won't even levy that criticism. I will say that it was beyond the normal scope of things that would happen. I don't know. Joe Biden's.
Let me just
flat out provocateurs in the crowd there on January 6th.
There were provocateurs.
The Capitol Police escorted these people into the Capitol.
I will respond to that. I will respond to that.
Okay.
I will respond to that. Somebody just said the Capitol Police escorted them in. Again, somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. So let me explain that. There were several officers that did allow people to come in. They had two choices. How do I know this? They testified under oath about this. Their two choices were as follows. They had hundreds of people, to them and a few other officers. The two choices were either take out a gun and start shooting people or allow them to come in. What would you rather them do in that situation? I'm actually glad that they didn't take out a gun and they started to shoot.
That's flat out.
Is someone going to bring up the COVID vaccine next? Like, what are we arguing?
Well, no,
this is such a stupid
we
conversation.
Can't move past 2020, apparently.
I have a news update. Matt just conceded. He said, I would have come out sooner, but I had to call my opponent to concede, and it took a while to find him in Tel Aviv, Thomas Massie.
So I will say,
here's the difference. Here's the difference.
I'm actually sad for America that Massie lost.
Last thing
we all agree.
Last thing about January 6th, and then we can move on, and I'm happy to talk about Massie or whatever else you want to talk about. The difference between me and a lot of other people on this panel, clearly there are a lot of differences. I don't care whether it's a Black Lives Matter protest or January 6th. If it's proven in a court of law that you beat a cop to a pulp, you are not a hostage, you are not a patriot, you are a criminal, a violent one, and you belong behind bars for a very, very long time. I find it very interesting on how
what happens when
aggressive
there's
you are.
provocateurs in that crowd, Brian, at the same time.
That was not proven. They had the right to
that's what
defend themselves
happened.
and
Okay,
evidence.
proven or not proven.
You can have that opinion. You can have that opinion about provocateurs, but here's the bottom line. This gentleman is so upset and angry and wants this guy, Chris, to go to jail, I would imagine, for a while for pushing someone in the back. But then when it comes to officers that are beaten almost to their death, he cannot say immediately, if you beat a cop on January 6th, you're not a hostage and you're not a patriot. You're not a serious person if you can't answer the question that way. We can move on now. Go ahead.
No,
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
The deal about it is I'm not going to answer it that way because I don't give cops a fucking pass just because they wear a fucking shield and a uniform. Okay, I'm not some
very pro-police. Very pro-police.
Yeah, but what did they do?
I don't have to be pro-police.
Yeah, he never said he was pro-police.
No, but what did they do?
I've never made that claim. Look, I am a combat veteran. I've deployed since Kosovo to every fucking major war that the U.S. has fought. However,
what does that have to do with January 6th?
Well, when you want to question people's patriotism, motherfucker, I've actually done things. Unlike you, who sits and talks on the radio.
Oh, whoa. First of all, let's start from square one here. As much as I dislike J.D. Vance and Ron DeSantis, I don't shit on people's service to their country. I think anybody that serves this country, hold on a second. But the guy that you support and you voted for is the guy who said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured, and the guy that dodged the military 5 times. So don't you fucking talk to me about patriotism when you vote for a guy who dodges the military 5 times, who calls people
suckers
like
and losers.
Suckers and losers.
Wait, here's the deal.
Quote fallacy. It's not an
here's
argument.
The deal. Well, no. Look, from an actual vet, I don't give a fuck if someone dodges the draft. Bill Clinton.
Well, that's really
was one
sad.
of my favorite. Was
That's
one of my
really
fucking
sad.
favorite presidents.
That's really sad.
Why?
If somebody, okay, I'll give you Donald Trump's example.
Military service is not a requirement.
Hold on. I did not say that
Except
military service. The draft is certainly a requirement. What Donald Trump did is he had his doctor, because the doctor was friends with Fred Trump. The doctor's family have spoken out about this. He made up this bone spurs bullshit. It is a cowardly thing to do. Now, I respect the fact that you serve this country, but you also voted for a guy who lied, who dodged the draft, and according to General
everyone who's
Kelly,
ever ran for president lies. Every politician lies. And look, I will tell you this: I'm not defending Trump dodging the draft.
Yeah, the wealthy have been doing the
deal is the Bill Clinton dodged the draft. We've had several draft dodgers.
If somebody lies like a billion times compared to
John Wayne. John Wayne was one of the biggest cowards during World War II. And all he did was portray.
Yeah, but we're talking about the guy who you support. We're talking about the guy who you support right now. That's why it's relevant to the conversation.
Actually, no, I actually don't support him right now. I voted for him.
Did you vote for him?
Support him right now.
Okay,
yes.
so you decided to vote for the guy who called John McCain. He said he didn't respect John McCain because he was a POW. Are you okay with that language?
If you were in the military, you would understand some of the reasons why people might have said.
So you're defending it.
Okay?
No.
So I
think everyone can have their opinion. I don't care how shitty their opinion is.
Not according to Brian. We have to
I
agree.
hate to break this to you, but John McCain does not have the cleanest record when it comes to his time in the Hanoi.
So he's
I don't know.
So because
I don't care. People can have
well,
shitty
guess
opinions.
what? Well, guess what? People
You
are
have
entitled
them, and
to
I
have
still think you're an all right guy overall.
Hey, guess what? I'm not running for president of the United States. Okay. I'm not running for public office. Nobody's voting for me. The guy who's the commander in chief and the leader of the free world said he didn't respect somebody because they were captured. All of us should call that out, regardless of what your personal opinions are. Regardless,
obviously the people don't care either.
Okay. Well, actually, sir, I would disagree with that. There's a lot of people right now that do, and even people that once voted. There's a reason why his approval numbers are in the toilet right now, in the low 30s. And by the way, among independents, they're around 20%. Well, what did you fucking expect?
Yeah. What is Congress approval rate? What is the Congress approval rate with Democrats?
Oh, the approval rating from Congress is terrible too. But if we're talking about the president, right? Okay, Donald Trump right now has the lowest approval numbers of any president in American history. Go ahead and give me another one.
Hey, but Brian, there's a lot of people who voted for Trump and don't stand with him now. So you have to allow people to change their opinions in real time.
It's not about changing your opinion as far as I don't support him now. I get what you're saying. The point that I'm trying to make is these are comments that he made years ago about John McCain. This is a guy who dodged the draft. I think those things are important. Now, I guess people vote differently than me in some cases.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But Jason said that Clinton and a lot of them other did, and he also said that
I wouldn't vote for Bill Clinton. I don't defend Bill Clinton.
That was his favorite president. So obviously, even before Trump was even in the picture, he was consistent with his.
Yeah. So here's my. If you want my opinions on Bill Clinton, here's what I would say to that. If Bill Clinton ran for office right now, I would not vote for him unless he was up against Donald Trump. Like Donald Trump, I think Bill Clinton's a bad guy who did some horrible things to kids. It would not surprise me one bit. I think he's done some horrible things to women. Now, as far as policy-wise, he's the last president that left us in a surplus. And from a fiscal responsible standpoint, he was a very good president. But I think he's a really bad guy. It's part of the reason why I didn't vote for Hillary. And I made a mistake. But I'm not a Clinton fan. I never have been. I'm not a fan of Hillary. I'm not a fan of Bill Clinton. If people do and say the things that Bill Clinton has done, in my opinion, or the things that Donald Trump has done, I don't want them to be the leader of the free world. And I don't curl myself into a pretzel making excuses for things they've done.
But we have a legitimate question because he opened everything up to China, which is part of our problem now.
Let's be honest. Nixon actually started that snowball. But one last question for you, Brian, and then I'm going.
The majority of the actual money change is different.
Do you like your boots plain, or do you lick your boots with cream and sugar?
Please, come on, dude, come on. For the 2028 presidential election, who do you like and why?
That's actually a good question. I'm so used to asking people that question.
I'm Jon Stewart.
That'd be great. I wish Michelle Obama ran, but speaking of Kamala, real quickly,
you're joking or serious?
Some of you guys think that all I do is vote to the left, or I'm a liberal.
Are you joking or serious? I can't tell if you're joking.
Hold on, let me be serious for a moment. I spoke with Kamala Harris 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. And after I left that event she had in Las Vegas, I did a video that went viral. And I said this verbatim. I said, if Kamala Harris is the answer in 2028, we're all fucked. And I was called a racist, and I was called a lot of things from people on the left. The reason why I said that is because I don't think she's a good candidate. I think there are better candidates out there. I like Wes Moore. I wish Michelle Obama would run. I do think Josh Shapiro would be a good candidate. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people wouldn't vote for him because he's Jewish. I like Pete Buttigieg. I think a lot of people wouldn't vote for him because he's gay. It's really a sad state of affairs, but I do think that there are a lot of candidates out there that I certainly would support. I think Gavin Newsom has his personal issues. I don't think he's the greatest guy in the world. Right now, it would probably be Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance. Yeah, I'd vote for Gavin Newsom. It'd be an anti-J.D. Vance vote. But
wait, why is J.D. Vance a worse person than Gavin Newsom?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you why?
Worst president. I'll answer that.
No, you said you shouldn't vote to someone that's a bad person, but you said you would vote for Gavin Newsom over JD.
Right. Well, you guys always talk about the lesser of two evils, and let me tell you something.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to answer your question. Back in 2006.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry. Bless you. I didn't hit the mute button in time.
That's okay. Back in 2016, I did not vote for Trump or Hillary. The reason why I didn't is because I didn't like either of them. And I made a mistake. Even though I'm not a Hillary Clinton fan, I should have voted for her. If we're talking about bad people, I said Gavin Newsom has a lot of personal issues in his life. I don't think he's a great guy. I didn't say he was a horrible guy. J.D. Vance, I'll give you an example of why I wouldn't vote for J.D. Vance. We're talking about horrible people. So as you know, J.D. Vance's wife comes from Indian descent, right? Mm-hmm. You remember that whole big balls controversy where you had that imbecile go on social media. He said a lot of racist things, and he said some racist things about people who are Indian. J.D. Vance was one of the first people who defended big balls and said he deserves another chance. J.D. Vance was the guy who made up the lie they're eating the cats and eating the dogs. J.D. Vance is the guy who said Donald Trump could be the next American Adolf Hitler. Not only is he a phony, he's a liar, and he doesn't defend his own wife.
And that's not his name.
So he's a bad person. He's worse than what Gavin has done because of those three things.
I would say I can give you more examples policy-wise, but I would say I don't want Gavin Newsom to win. I don't want J.D. Vance to win. I'm only giving you the scenario if it was Gavin Newsom versus J.D. Vance, I would vote for J.D. Vance. I wouldn't be happy about it. I'm sorry, Gavin Newsom, I'd vote for. I wouldn't be happy.
There.
I misspoke. I wouldn't be happy about it. I want somebody else in there.
Well, so who do you want? That's really the question. Not the polling.
My dream ticket.
Who does Brian Shapiro want right now?
If the elections were tomorrow, somebody that I think can win, or somebody that I think probably won't win, but I would want to see them as president.
No. Who you want, sir? So it's not. Sure. I'm not probability of winning. Brian Shapiro's dream ticket.
I would probably want Josh Shapiro and Wes Moore. Josh Shapiro as president, Wes Moore as vice president. There are a lot of Republicans.
Even with all the controversies that Josh Shapiro has had in the state of Pennsylvania, all the controversies, the cover-ups, the rape cover-up that he did for the high school and everything. Yeah.
So as far as that cover-up is concerned, that's never been proven. I would also tell you that his polling is extremely high, and the polling is even good among Republicans in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, he's very well liked. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, he's a good governor, so he knows how to govern. He's very well liked. I believe Josh Shapiro would be a really good president, and I really like Wes Moore. If I thought Wes Moore had a chance, I would run to the voter booth. I think he's an extremely intelligent, well-spoken guy, a good governor. So those would probably be my top two. I wish Michelle Obama would run. I think she's a very intelligent lady, and I think she'd be a great president, but she's not going to run. So that's the best.
Why do you think she'd be a great president? Just out of curiosity.
Why do I think Michelle Obama would be?
It's your question.
Well, for a lot of different reasons. First of all, extremely intelligent. I think off the charts intelligent. I also believe that she aligns with policies that I agree with. I remember when she was the first lady, she spoke a lot. And I think that Michelle Obama would be very similar, at least in my opinion, to like a Wes Moore type of candidate. But it's not going to happen. It's a wet dream because it's not going to happen. She's not going to run.
She's not interested. She don't want that anymore, right?
Right. So, and I can respect that. But if you ask me the two people that my ticket, it would probably be either Wes Moore for president with Josh Shapiro as vice president. I thought Kamala did a horrible pick, by the way, with Tim Walz. I don't think Tim Walz is a bad guy. I thought he did terrible in that debate, and I don't think he was the right candidate. Josh Shapiro did not want to be the VP. He chose not to. They didn't not pick him. I know this for a fact. Josh Shapiro did not want to be VP.
I don't think Kamala Harris really got to pick. She was kind of put in there. I mean, she's an actor in general. She was raised in Canada.
I blame Joe Biden.
I don't want anyone.
Didn't Biden say he was picking a black woman?
Allow me to interrupt for just a moment, gentlemen, if you don't mind. B Sharp, also known as Kraut, sent this in earlier, and I do apologize. It was supposed to be a boot, and I didn't realize it at the moment. But he wants a little more time with Mr. Shapiro to see if he holds everyone to the same standards. And Shaman, he chose you to boot to the back for his seat back. Salute.
I'm going to go to spare Shaman. Brian, thank you for your time.
Thank
Sarah,
you. Good conversation.
For bringing me on. Y'all have a wonderful night, and as always, God bless.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate it.
See you, Jason.
Well, that only spares Shaman if the other guy's next in line.
By the way, just for the record, I would say Joe Biden absolutely screwed this country and he ruined his legacy. He should have stepped down much sooner. We should have had a primary. And I think there would have been a different outcome and we would have had a different president if Joe Biden had said he was going to be a one-term president and a year before stepped down. I will always be pissed off at Joe Biden for doing that. I don't blame it all on Kamala. I don't think she was a great candidate, but she only had 3 months to campaign.
I blame it on the party.
Wait, you mentioned the cackle, right? It is important because it's too annoying to listen to. Like, you could listen to Obama talk all day. You could listen to Bill Clinton talk all day. But that cackle is annoying, and it hurt her.
It's not the cackle itself; it's her being fake. Shapiro,
like it wasn't a factor. It is a factor. She's like, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
She's fake like Drake. She's raised in Canada. She's this like fake persona. She's like the biggest. It's outrageous.
All she wanted to talk about was her grass and how nice her trees and her middle class lifestyle and all this other bullshit. That's all she wanted to talk about. She had no real policy. She was the border czar. She opened the border with the auto fucking pen and caused the problems in this country today.
Question from Mr. Tom Carpenter. He can't go to bed yet. He's been trying. He's been telling us all night that, okay, I'm out. Good night. Okay, I'm out. Good night. And he keeps coming back for more. Question from bed for Brian. If Condi Rice ran rep against Hillary, would you vote Condi?
Republican.
Maybe. I'd have to think about that. Maybe. That'd be a tough decision for me. I'd have to think about that. By the way, Mayorkas was the border czar. It was never Kamala Harris. The vice president is a policymaker. You have no idea what you're talking about.
Brian.
Okay, so I've been pretty quiet. So I got a question. Why in the fuck would you ever think that Gavin Newsom would ever become the president of the United States? What, do you want the whole United States to be this Green New Deal? Billions and billions of more dollars disappear like he's doing in California?
What was your question? I'm sorry.
Why would you ever say or want, if you did, right? If you did want Gavin Newsom as the president of the United States instead of J.D. Vance? Answer that.
Sure. First of all, I believe in the woman's right to choose. I believe that we need to
fuck your woman's right to choose.
Okay. Well, either you're going to let me answer your question. Either you're going to let me answer your question and shut the fuck up, or I'm not going to answer. Then shut the fuck up and don't interrupt me. How about that?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. 30 seconds.
No.
Okay. I'm giving you policies where I agree with Gavin Newsom. Okay, so be quiet. I will start over again. I believe in the woman's right to choose. I believe if J.D. Vance is reelected, the entire country, abortion will be illegal. I believe in not giving the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%, which is what the Trump administration did, and J.D. Vance has backed it 100%. I do believe Gavin Newsom would give tax breaks to middle class and people that are struggling living paycheck to paycheck. I also am getting tired of people attacking brown people and people throwing away our Constitution. J.D. Vance is totally okay with not giving undocumented immigrants in this country due process. In our Constitution, it says any person, not any citizen. I will give Gavin Newsom credit for that. He's been very consistent on that issue in helping people that are struggling. I believe if J.D. Vance is president, I don't think he would be as extreme as Donald Trump is, but J.D. Vance has backed Donald Trump even on this $1.7 billion slush fund, which is insane. It's corruption at the highest level. So I believe J.D. Vance, as far as being fiscally responsible, he would not. Every Republican gets us deeper into the deficit. Donald Trump got us $8.2 trillion deep first go around. It's going to be worse this go around with the war. So I don't believe Gavin Newsom would get us into another ill-advised war. As much as you might dislike Gavin Newsom, I don't believe he'd get us into a war. J.D. Vance seems to be all in with this war in Iran.
Why do we call him James Bowman, his real name, not his third name he changed it to?
That's also true. I'm
okay,
not a big
and
Gavin
the second question I have, what is your problem with Ron DeSantis?
It's DeSantis. It's DeSantis. So let's.
What I said. Answer the question.
Okay. I am, but just try to pronounce his name right. So, what is my issue with Ron DeSantis? Well,
yeah. What's your fucking problem?
He takes credit first of all, he takes credit for Joe Biden policy. I can give you a number of policies where America did much better with some of Joe Biden's policies, and DeSantis voted against that, number one. I think Ron DeSantis, and I think Republican poll numbers prove this, he's not a very likable guy. It's the reason why Donald Trump didn't even hire him and put him in the administration. And I believe the scandal that he is in or was in with his wife is the reason why his wife isn't going to be the governor. She would have been the governor. She would have been the front runner. And they stole money from the healthcare coverages that they had in that state. And Ron DeSantis knew exactly what he was doing. One day he's pro Donald Trump. The next day he's anti Donald Trump. When he was running for president, when he was running for office, I should say, it was Ron DeSantis that was attacking Donald Trump every day, just like the Ted Cruzes of the world and the Marco Rubios of the world. They are phony. Ron DeSantis is a phony blowhard. It's why he's polling so bad with Republicans. He would have no chance to win the presidency, and I don't think he will ever be even close to becoming the president of the United States. I think he's a bad dude. I think he's a guy, while I respect his service to the country, it's about the only thing I respect about him, and I think he's done a terrible job.
And before anybody responds, hold on just a second. If Ayotin wanted to use this credit as a boot, she wants to get for the win out of here, and she wants to bring up our darling Clay. He gave up his seat earlier so kindly to allow other people to come up, and he's been patiently waiting backstage. Clay, I thank you so much. That was incredibly generous of you. And Ayotin couldn't live without Clay on screen. Ayotin says, I live in California. We've done poorly enough that a lot of Democrats are starting to look at Steve Hilton like, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Steve Hilton is a guy just like a Pete Hegseth who had his weekend show on Fox News. See, here's my problem with Steve Hilton. And again, and I would use the term Trump mushroom gobbler when it comes to Steve Hilton. These people, they talk about fraud. I've had a conversation with Steve Hilton. He talks about fraud 24/7. And then when I bring up fraud and the people who Donald Trump has pardoned, he doesn't want to talk about it. And here's a guy, let me be very clear on this. I will never vote for anybody who will not admit that Joe Biden won a free and fair election, okay? Because he's a Trump mushroom gobbler. He needed the Trump endorsement. I don't think he's going to win California. But I will say this. There's a lot of people on the left that are really bad candidates as well. I don't understand why Kamala didn't run for governor of California. I think that would have been a wise decision on her part. I don't understand what she's doing traveling the country. If she thinks she has a chance to win, she has no chance. I think she should have run for governor of California. I think she would have beaten somebody like a Hilton. So I don't know if I think Tom Steyer's probably the favorite. Obviously, he has boatloads of money. Again, when I use the term Trump mushroom gobbler, it means anybody that can't criticize Trump for literally anything. Steve Hilton was asked 7 times on MSNBC a few weeks ago, who won the 2020 election? He wouldn't answer the question. He's an imbecile, and I hope he loses because I think California is going to be in deeper trouble if he wins.
They're already in deep trouble. Answer me this. Do you know where all this money went that was supposed to fund this railroad or whatever the fuck it was? Where did that money go?
That was the high-speed rail.
The high-speed rail. Thank you.
The high-speed rail didn't pass the last phase. It's my understanding. So if it didn't pass, I don't know. I wish
it passed the first phase. Where's the money?
It did, but it had to pass. There was more phases that it needed to pass in order for it to be a done deal. My understanding is it didn't pass the next phase. You're right. It did pass that first phase, but it ran into obstacles, and I have no idea. I don't live in California. I don't cover local politics in California, but
no, I understand, but I'm giving you example. I'm giving you an example that Newsom is a part of that first phase, all that money.
I've made it clear. Gavin Newsom wouldn't be a top 10 pick for me, but I'm just giving you the reality because you asked me. If the elections were held if the elections were held tomorrow, right? I'm not saying this would be my choice, but if the elections were held tomorrow, it would probably most likely be Gavin Newsom versus either Marco Rubio or JD Vance. Right now, listen, there's a lot that can change.
We are all fucked.
Listen, I agree. We need better candidates, but listen, the elections are 2.5 years out, right? A lot can change between now and then. I'm just giving you the reality of where we're at right now. I'm not saying I want that to happen. I gave you other candidates that I think are much better candidates than Gavin Newsom. But
okay, so I understand your stance on Newsom. I understand your stance on Newsom. So then we could agree that if Newsom, as we speak right now, were to become the president of the United States, would you concede or would you say that within the first year or two, the United States would be California in its entirety?
No, because the reason why I would say no is because you look at California and how many people live in that state. There are very different standards of your job when you're the governor of California than when you're the president of the United States. So I would not make that assertion that because, for example, we could talk about the homeless issue, right? We could talk about per capita, what people in California are facing and the high prices when it comes to gas, even before the war. There are different things that you have to deal with as a governor of a huge state like California than being the president of the United States. So I wouldn't make that assumption that Gavin Newsom would be a horrible president. I wouldn't concede that. I'm not saying that he's my first, second, or third pick, but there are different challenges in running in the state of California than there would be being the president.
Challenges that he caused.
Allow me to interrupt for just a moment, folks. To those on my end, you know the drill on that dono goal. You've got 17 minutes left to figure it the fuck out. Okay, I did not get out of bed to sit here and look pretty. All right.
But you do.
Brian.
Delphil also says, "Hey Brian, what are the 3 laws of logic, and how do you ground your ethics?" That's a good question. Actually, that's a very common one here.
Yeah. So I get my
got muted.
Oh yeah, you must have hit the button.
George, must be George Soros.
×2. Second time.
I did that on Pierce Morgan too. It was embarrassing. By the way, I'm in a new place that I just moved into, so I'm testing. So you're kind of like my guinea pigs here. So thank you. I'm trying to remember what the question was now. Oh, the laws of logic. On the screen. Yeah. So I'm not a philosophical debater. I never have been. And that's a question that if you're asking me where I get my ethics from or where I get my worldviews from, I'm not a religious person. I get it from my parents, the way I was raised. Everybody uses that worldview. Where do you get your, and a lot of them use their religion. And I don't care where people get their worldviews from. I remember I was in a debate with Jay Dyer, right? This was like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I just tried to get him to admit that murder is bad. And I said, probably billions of people have died because of religion. Why? Because they think their religion is superior to others. And I just said, can we agree that murder is bad? And then he got into his philosophical thing about, well, that's just subjective. That's your opinion. I'm like, dude, it's not worth a conversation. I'm not a philosophical debater. My job is to talk about the news of the day and the news of the week. So if you want to know where my worldview comes from, it's very simple. It comes from my parents. I don't hide behind religion, and I don't hide behind a book. I look up to my parents because they're wonderful people. It's the way they've raised me. My mom is a New Yorker who tells it like it is in your face. My dad's got a great sense of humor. And if I take a little bit of that, and my dad is a wonderful man, my parents have never been in trouble with the law before. They're great people. They're hardworking people. My dad was a chemist for decades. My mom was a physical education teacher. So that's where I get my worldview from. If you want to talk about logic, it's probably the same guy who thinks the 2020 election was stolen. So
I would like to talk to you about something that you said, Brian. I'm surprised nobody called you out for it. I got 2 questions to ask you, and then I kind of want to see if you hold everybody to the same standards. The first thing, correct me if I'm wrong, you said Donald Trump called, John McCain a loser because he was a POW?
His direct quote is, I tend not to respect people. John McCain was captured. I tend not to respect people who were captured. That's the direct quote.
Said I like winners.
That's actually wrong. You can look it up. He said he didn't respect him because he lost the election. Now, he did make a comment about him being a POW. He said
correct.
He's trying to. It wasn't that he was a loser, though. You lied about that, or you're missing.
He did. No.
No. Let me finish.
But I didn't
he
use the term
said
loser.
About him being a POW that he didn't respect him for being a POW.
Correct.
He didn't call him. He didn't call him a loser.
No, I didn't say he called John McCain a loser. I said suckers and losers.
I just asked you.
You said it again.
Let me. No, you guys got to pay attention.
No.
Oh, because you said suckers too. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You got to let me explain.
There's two different incidents, you dumbasses.
Right. Exactly. They don't understand.
Shut up,
you, sir.
Fatty.
So no, hold on a second.
Clue, bro. At least know what you're fucking talking about.
All right, go ahead, Shapiro, because I got one more question for you.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, so this is really important because that gentleman is correct. So the term suckers and losers, I was referring to General Kelly, who's a 4-star general, who claimed that Donald Trump called all men and women who've served this country suckers and losers. The separate incident with John McCain was I was referring to him saying he didn't respect John McCain as somebody who was captured. Those are two completely different topics, and that gentleman is correct. I've been very clear on that. I've talked about this for years for people that weren't.
So I got one more thing for you.
I pulled up the quote just real quick.
I got one more thing.
In 2015, he said he's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured. But
exactly.
In that same exact night, he also called him a loser, and and most people said it was referring to that. So it was the same exact night.
Now,
and then there was
Brian, I got another question for you, and then I kind of want to see if you hold everybody's same standards. You said Trump or JD Vance lied about people eating chickens and ducks and cats and dogs. Take your time, bro.
Muted again.
All right. It's muted.
Yeah.
He's in a
I didn't. JD Vance said they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. And what it turned out to be was there was a woman who lost her cat. She called 911. She claimed that people ate her cat, and then she found her cat 2 weeks later. She did an interview. There has been no direct evidence other than JD Vance claiming that his constituents claim that they saw minorities eating cats and dogs. The local police department said that they had no reports. The local mayor said it wasn't true, and the governor said it wasn't true. It was a fabricated story to get, unfortunately, people to believe that are ill-informed that minorities are stealing your pets and they're eating them in the park. There was one case of somebody, a white man, who I think last I checked was cooking up ducks in the park. One white dude who did it. They weren't undocumented immigrants that were doing it. And a woman started this whole thing by claiming that her cat was eaten by somebody, and then her cat was found 2 weeks later. So that was a lie. Now, it was a made-up lie.
I'll give you that Trump said cats and dogs. One of the things I hate about Trump, he doesn't know how to articulate what he thinks. That's why I loved it when JD Vance won against Waltz. He clarified, and there's witnesses that lived in what was it, Ohio or Idaho, wherever the hell it was. The mayor, the governor, the police, they aren't going to admit people are eating the ducks, but there are witnesses living in that said the Haitian immigrants are literally rounding up the animals, mainly ducks, and using them as sacrificial.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Why?
Let's talk about that.
Well, they're doing that in Miami with chickens.
Hold on. Let's talk about that. So your evidence for the vice president, or at the time wannabe vice president, and Donald Trump saying that they're all eating the cats and the dogs. The only evidence that you can provide is there are several people that made claims, no police report, no video evidence, nobody arrested, nobody cited. So your entire evidence that you're defending Donald Trump and JD Vance spreading this story is that several people claimed it. Do you realize how ridiculous?
I wasn't defending Trump. I even said Trump needs to articulate.
Your suckers and losers comment was from one.
I'm never going to get that song out of my head. Anytime somebody says they're eating the cats or dogs, they're eating the cats. They're eating that Trump remix.
Said it like it was an emergency,
that shit
remember?
was hot.
Was
like when they,
everyone's like, "Oh my god!"
I listened to that shit on repeat. I was jamming.
By the
out.
way, that is a great. That is a great song. I know this. By the way, when JD Vance was asked about it multiple times, the only evidence he provided was, well, some of my constituents called in and claimed it. That's not evidence. By the way, if you're doing that, it's illegal. The cops are called out. Cops aren't covering up for people, dude. Okay, not in this situation.
And you're saying Trump called Marines suckers and losers based on one person, one witness testimony with no evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so
you're gonna be consistent or no?
Yeah, sure. So we have So I think there's a difference between a 4-star general who worked for Donald Trump in the Oval Office, who made that claim, okay, and random people who call into J.D. Vance's office that are probably racist.
Yeah, but Brian, everyone else who was in that meeting,
they were on the news. They weren't random.
Happened, though.
Racist.
Only one man made that claim, and all the other people, no one confirmed it. That's the problem with
Well,
that.
guess what? Guess what? Here's why. Okay, so there's a history. Here's why I believe General Kelly. Okay, you can say, "Oh my God," or you could actually take the MAGA wax out of your ears and try to listen. I'm very consistent. Four-star
general statements against groups of people.
Hold on. So here's the term. Here's the reason why I believe General Kelly. We were just talking about the statements that he made about John McCain, the statements he made about Colin Powell after Powell died, the statements he made about a Purple Heart recipient in Robert Mueller, who said, quote, "I'm happy he's dead," the day after. Donald Trump has a history of being jealous of real heroes. And as I've said before, and I say again, if you serve this country honorably, you are a hero. He has some weird jealousy fetish, and he has a history. When you have random people, and that's what it was, by the way, J.D. Vance admitted it, random people, his constituents, who left voicemails with no evidence other than they're eating the cats and dogs. That's different than a four-star general who served this country honorably, who risked his life, who worked under Donald Trump as a hero.
Brian, remember
you're lying again.
Brian, remember when Biden claimed that there were 50 former intelligence agents that all confirmed Russiagate? They all people in high positions make claims across the board. You remember?
When did I defend that? Did I defend that?
I'm not saying you.
Did I defend
said you could trust them.
I'm,
you said you should
I'm
trust
bringing
them.
up a
consistency,
point.
right?
I'm bringing.
You should trust
I'm
those
not
people.
talking about you. I said, remember when that Biden in that 2020 debate said that over 50 intelligence agents confirmed the authenticity.
Because there was. Because there was. Do you know that there was Russian interference, or do you not understand that?
I don't consider. I'm very familiar with the evidence that and the claim.
Was there Russian interference? Yes or no?
I don't think there was remotely close to the way they presented it.
Hold on. Let's talk about.
And again, I told you
that was about.
I wasn't a supporter.
That was about Hunter Biden's laptop.
Let me respond. Let me respond about that. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with Hunter Biden's laptop.
No, that's no.
Hold on.
Let me respond.
Go ahead, Brian. At least for the clarification.
Hold on. You just talked about Russian interference. Let me respond to it.
We do got to give Brian a chance to talk. It is like 6 heads versus 10.
I'm not playing whataboutism, Brian. I'm saying.
Let me respond to what you just said.
Okay.
The claim of Russian interference was proven. Now, do I think it overturned the outcome? No, I don't. But it was proven that they hacked on Facebook and they did interfere. Now, again, am I saying that it overturned? Or am I an election denier? No, I'm not. I think it had very little outcome over that election.
It was like 1.5 million.
That's not what it was about. You guys are confusing the case.
No,
this was about Hunter Biden's laptop story. The 51 CIA.
He just said Russian interference.
That he got it wrong.
Okay.
It's about the Hunter Biden laptop story when those
Russiagate
people came out. That's no. It's,
I missed. You're right. Sorry.
Okay. Well, you said. Okay. Well, you said.
I framed it wrong.
Russian interference. So I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. So that's why
we're talking about
because we know the Hunter Biden story. It was wrong. So you're saying that we should believe them because they're four-star generals.
Wait.
Experts.
What did they say about the Hunter Biden laptop? I'm sorry.
That it wasn't real and it was
that was a
hacked
fraud.
Russian
So
disinformation.
what did we find? What would we find that was confirmed in a court of law that was in the Hunter Biden laptop?
No, was it real? Was the laptop real? That's what they said. It wasn't real.
No.
Hunter Biden said it was his laptop. No,
No.
The agents that you're talking about said
Hunter Biden
it wasn't real.
Okay, so when they said it wasn't real, I remember this story. There were people that claimed that Hunter Biden was with underage girls. There were people that claimed all this stuff about Hunter Biden that wasn't proven in the laptop. They were conspiracy theories. Who's the woman who just got out of jail? Tina Peters. She did my show and she said she had the Hunter Biden laptop. The point being, there were a lot of people out there that spread a lot of rumors about this supposed laptop, and it was never proven.
That's not what the letter said. That's not what the letter said. You're talking about something that the letter did not say. The letter from the 51 agents, the past
former intelligence
agents we're talking about. Yes, they came out and said everything that was being reported about the Hunter Biden laptop was fake, and it's all Russian disinformation.
What specifically?
The pictures that were coming out.
What specifically were they referring to? What was
the
reported?
whole thing? They rebuked the whole thing.
There was pictures that were coming
and what
out.
was proven? And what was proven? What was ever proven?
It was proven that the pictures were
laptop?
actually from the Hunter Biden laptop.
Where?
So
Where was that
The only
proven?
thing that was proven is
Where?
that he had a gun
But it
when
was
he
proven
was
from the
supposed
FBI.
to.
They released
Correct.
it.
Correct. So here's let me explain to you what was proven, and that gentleman is correct. Here's what was proven. Hunter Biden had an unloaded gun illegally for 13 days. Hunter Biden lied on his taxes. Hunter Biden was prosecuted for that. That's the only thing that was proven. Do you know what Hunter Biden is doing right now? Do you know what he's doing right now with his life?
Doing interviews with Pam and Jones and
This
selling
wasn't the point of
paintings for
bringing this up.
$500,000.
You're
Okay,
all
well,
talking.
nothing was proven in the Hunter Biden laptop in a court of law. What I'm trying to show you guys is that what you're making claims of something that you think was in there because you saw some pictures on the internet.
No.
That doesn't prove anything. So I don't even know why you're bringing up Hunter
No,
Biden.
Brian, I brought it up specifically
MPP
only to
showed
say
a
that we
big-ass
can't
box.
just
Did you see that thing?
believe people because they have specific titles because they lie on both sides. That's all I was saying. I'm not playing whataboutism.
Okay.
I don't like
Well,
Hunter Biden in order.
If it was just one comment that somebody alleged that Donald Trump made, then maybe I would have some reservations. Here's
The
why I
general,
believe
you were
John-
defending that this general.
Yeah,
because he's a
yeah.
four-star
But
general, and I
here's
was
why.
like, yeah.
Here's why I'm defending him, because Donald Trump has a history that we've talked about on this show tonight. A
Sure.
history of going after people who have served.
Agreed.
And at Arlington Cemetery, do you remember the spectacle that he did like a year ago? It was despicable.
No, that was
And
fabricated.
He got permission from the family, by the way.
By the way, that's not how it works. No, hold on. Whether you get permission,
You're fabricating
from a
controversy.
Hold on.
I don't
Whether
care.
you get okay, I know you don't care, but I'm still going to say what I'm going to say.
I know you are,
You don't-
because you're a
just
fucking
because-
moron.
Fucking patriot,
okay.
right?
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you. Thank
all
you.
right,
Okay,
all
let me
right, all
explain. Let me explain to the guy who's spurging out real quickly. It doesn't
Yes,
matter.
please
based
tell
on,
us more lies.
Please,
Go on.
If you can just be quiet. And by the way, if
I
you
could,
can
nobody
prove that I'm
smirking,
lying-
bro.
Hold on.
If
Go
you
ahead,
can
Ryan.
prove that I'm about to lie here, then I'll pay
I can
you
prove you
$100
already
for it,
lied to us.
Okay, so why don't you shut the fuck up and let me talk?
No, I won't
okay?
shut the fuck up. How about you make me, Brian?
All right, then
Let
I'm going to leave.
let me
you
read
leave
some
then.
money.
Go
I'm going to
leave.
read.
Leave.
I'm going to read money, and you can all shut the fuck up now, okay? Del Phil says a big five. Says thank you for not answering the question. Your worldview is hollow, and that was regarding the three laws of logic, which I don't care either.
Don't care.
Because Del Phil likes to send money just to say mean things or whatever. So, but thank you, Del Phil. I appreciate it very much. So.
I want to just real quickly, if I can, talk about Arlington Cemetery because that was brought up. So there are rules at the cemetery. Just because a family gives somebody permission doesn't mean that it's allowed. The rules at Arlington Cemetery are laid out. You could look them up online, and that was a big part of this controversy. Just because a family says, oh, we'll allow the president to have this celebratory party, political party, whatever you'd like to call it. Okay, you can look up the Arlington Cemetery rules and the rules that were broken. They were broken there. Now, if anybody would like to make a wager with me, since the gentleman thinks I'm a liar, then I'll gladly make a wager with you, any amount of money, that the Arlington Cemetery rules do not, somebody's family that says, oh, it's okay, we can break the rules. That's not how it works, my
Brian,
friend.
he's the commander in chief, and the U.S. Army has that ground. So
fucking deal.
all
All
the
the five-star generals. So you
under the executive branch.
No, they don't.
The president
Why
is
are
the
you
supreme
all
executive.
talking? I can't.
Fallen
I'm
soldiers.
sorry.
They're
I'm
all
sorry.
spurting out.
Why are we all retarded tonight?
Because we have an idiot on panel.
I
Fallen
know. I
soldiers.
think
You guys can
everybody's
fuck
acting
less.
like idiots because there's a lot of you that disagree with Brian. So you are all on your same team, but yet you're all talking over each other, so nobody can actually be heard. Now I know my regular panelists know better. You know how to engage. You know how to have the questions and answers and back and forth. I expect better. Do better, please, and thank you. Remember, I got out of bed for this, and I'm happy to fucking do it. And I'm having a grand old time, but I'm not going to sit here and just listen to you all spurg out over each other either. All right.
Yeah, I just want to read something. I just want to
Yeah.
read something really quickly because I know all these people are very upset, but I'm just going to read something directly which talks about this incident. August 2024 at Arlington National Cemetery. During the visit, a dispute occurred when Trump's team brought in a photographer and videographer for campaign-related content at the gravesite in Section 60, an area that is reserved for recently deceased soldiers. When cemetery officials told them that they were breaking the rules, 2 Trump staffers allegedly pushed, verbally abused the official. The Trump campaign denied wrongdoing. However, Arlington National Cemetery confirmed that not only did the incident happen, they cited federal laws prohibiting political activity on its grounds. It's a simple fucking Google search for all you people out there that can't spell the word fact.
So
it's a
allegedly, right?
To learn that the Arlington Cemetery is governed by the executive branch.
You're still talking over each other. Do we want to do the round robin? I can do round robin. We can go one at a time. If you want, you each get like 30 seconds for a response to something. If we want to do that, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, you guys need to unfuck yourselves. Okay. Mr. Tom Carpenter says, I lived in Springfield, Ohio for nearly a decade. Crazy town. And those ducks in the city park are a nuisance. Okay. Going to sleep for real this time, for real. But also I want to let you guys know, Mr. Tom Carpenter did send the big dono for us to continue tonight. However, he gave me the caveat. I can choose whether I want to continue or not. Don't give me a reason to go the other way. Okay. All right. All right.
So I just want to, can I just read a few more things if that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
The visit wasn't to honor the dead, by the way. This was a private event where he blasted Democrat presidential candidate Kamala Harris, the female employee who tried to stop this from happening, was insulted and shoved aside, according to witnesses. The Trump campaign used footage from the event for a TikTok video featuring Trump's voice and music, again, against the rules. The employee who was shoved decided not to press charges. The Army issued a blunt rebuke of Trump's visit and defended the employee. And, you know, these are just, I understand that some of you guys are Trump supporters, but if Joe Biden did something like this, I would call him out as well. It is against the rules of the cemetery in that section. There is no gray area here. They broke the rules.
Doesn't matter. The president makes those rules. It's under the executive branch. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. The Arlington National Cemetery is overseen by the executive branch of the United States government.
No, it's by the Army. It's by the Army, and he's
the Army is under the executive branch, idiot.
This guy is unhinged. It's pretty simple.
Sarah, can you bring
I laid
up
it out for
the thing I've had presented for a while now? Thank you. Oh, God, we cannot see that. I'm sorry. Let me zoom that in. I hope that... Okay. So you're claiming you don't make blanket statements about anybody like MAGA supporters. Posted today by Brian Shapiro. He thinks the dumb MAGA supporters would believe Trump had zero to do with former personal attorney making a deal with Ghislaine Maxwell. Sadly, he is correct. Those who still support Donald Trump are the dumbest America has to offer, period. Don't fucking lie to me and say you don't make blanket statements about
lying at all.
You hypocritical lying piece of shit.
Are you gonna let me respond, or are you gonna spurg out? Wow, this guy's lost his mind. So first of all, it's interesting how you just pivoted.
Wait, where'd you go, Ant?
As I think that guy just had a heart attack, as I just gave you facts about Arlington Cemetery. Now, in regards to the statements I made that he is referring to, which it sounded like he was having an aneurysm. He sounds like he's got some anger issues there. Yes, I never made a blatant statement that everybody who voted for Donald Trump is this. I will make this statement now. I think if you still support Donald Trump at this point, and you think he's doing a great job, and in that tweet, you think a $1.7 billion slush fund for some people who beat police officers is a good thing, I think you're a fucking moron. So I hope I made that very clear, sir. And I think you're definitely in that category. And I hope you take your medication and go to sleep.
Oh, there you go.
So you think millions of people are the stupidest people
in
our country?
Sorry about
millions
that.
of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So his approval ratings are in the low 30s.
Straight up.
So
30% of 400 million.
Let me respond. Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that. Let me know if you want me to. So I'm just going to respond to that. I do believe that if you I still believe that if you are all in with Donald Trump and you're in the cult and you think he's doing a great job and you can't criticize him for anything, and you think a $1.7 billion
now you're changing your statement.
Hold on, let him finish at least.
What I've said over and over again, and I'm repeating my statement. Well, if you don't care, then fucking get lost. Okay,
you get lost.
Okay, well, you're here to talk to me.
Hold on. Ant, you usually are.
We got some snowflakes, man.
Ant, you usually are one of my more grounded panelists. What's going on tonight?
This man's a liar. He lied about us. He lied about two other pieces earlier. I just showed you what you lied about, you fucking piece of shit. Fuck you.
Oh, Ant.
Oh, boy.
It's amazing.
We got some.
Well, hold on. Let me allow me.
Here's a problem you have. You don't know who I am. You don't know my name. You don't know what I look like. But I know who you are.
Up.
Oh my God.
Ant, relax for a second, okay? Even if he's lying, it's nothing for you to get hell-bent over. Show me on the doll, Ant. Show me on the doll why this is upsetting you so much. I love you, Ant. You're always here. You're always grounded, and you're always one of my stronger ones.
He's one of the most calm people usually. I've never seen it.
I know.
I broke him. I broke him.
And here's the
honorary Trump mushroom gobbler of the day to that gentleman right there.
I don't think Ant's whatever guy. That's the problem here, Brian. I think that Ant's pointing out is that you're thinking that everybody's for Trump. Do you realize that there's people up here that aren't for Trump?
I understand that. Where did I say that?
Because you're saying all you here on the panel. You said it about me at that point. Yeah.
You've said it to everybody that disagreed with you.
No, I didn't.
Did I just say everybody on the panel?
Brian, it does kind of sound like that here and there.
Okay, all right, stop. Okay, everybody stop for a second. Okay, so my panels are full of all sorts of different people from different perspectives. Yeah. So, like, for instance, Clay comes from our First Amender community. I don't even think he's pro-Trump I don't even think he's left or right. He's kind of like somewhere off in his own world. Andrew isn't necessarily MAGA, but he's a right-leaning, probably in the conservative arena, but he wouldn't be MAGA. He wouldn't be necessarily.
I'll give Andrew some credit. He seems like the calm one tonight. So.
I've been sitting here trying to wait so you would engage with me calmly.
Okay. You've earned that, Andrew.
Spin is definitely MAGA, pro-Trump, everything. Ant's like an atheist. I would say Ant usually says leftist talking points sometimes.
Host, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question, host? Have I ever said that I think everybody on this panel is all in MAGA? Have I said that?
I don't know. I've been.
Where do they get this from? What I said was,
you just said Ant is MAGA.
All you here,
you just said that right now.
All you left here.
You're on the left, bro.
I don't care. What I have said, and I'll repeat it again. If you're all in MAGA, I didn't say everybody on this panel was all in MAGA. I said if you're all in MAGA and you think he's doing a great job and he's a great president, and today you still are all in with him, then yes, I categorize you as an imbecile. I'm not saying everybody on this panel is at that. Now, you can call me an imbecile. I'm not going to have an aneurysm and lose have a vein coming out of my neck and say, I know what you look like. I know where you are. I know what you look. I mean, it's a little insane.
Well, I'll say something here too, Brian. Condescending, essentially, I would show us and tell us how insignificant we are to you.
Can I
down your nose at it? Can I you, fuck you in your goddamn ear, you piece of shit.
Hi, Ant. Brian, I'd like to.
Hold on.
We all have our hair, bro.
I'm just so shocked because Ant is usually our quietest, most grounded person here.
Can I just say if anything, but nobody else?
Can I just say one more thing? This is the first time anyone has ever said they want to fuck me in my ear. So I give that guy a lot of credit. It's not something that I want you to do to me.
Actually, I said fuck you in the ear. I didn't say I would do the fucking.
All right. Well, for you to I've never heard anybody even use that term. It sounds to me like you would want to watch it.
Apparently, haven't heard it. Apparently, unfalsifiable is something you've never heard before. Really?
I've never had a man. I've never had a man.
Yeah, I second that. Fuck your ear, Brian.
Really?
Yeah. I've never had a man.
Never had a man. Well, you haven't been to many of.
Here's what I think.
You haven't been to many places.
Go ahead, Brian.
I think that very calm person who just made that statement, he sounds very stable, is probably having dreams watching another man fuck me in the ear And if that's your thing, bro, I got no problem with it. If you like gingers bald gingers that hate Donald Trump getting fucked in the ear, and that's your fetish, then go for it, bro. I'm not going to judge you. I wish you luck, bro. I wish you luck.
Here's what I want to know, Ant. Why are you more worked up than Spin right now? Like, this is so switched up. I'm so shocked. Anyways,
because he came into our space and just started immediately.
I came into your space.
Shut up for a second.
Okay,
you shut up.
Let me
I will say, hold on, boys, put your dicks away. I will say, like, our regular panelists, Clay, LG's fairly new, but I foresee him coming to join a lot. Uncle Fatty comes here a lot. Kraut's still new, but I foresee him here probably every night. Shaman's been here every night. Ant's been here every night. Spin's been here every night. Andrew comes in probably at least once a week. Yeah, you're a regular. But yeah, this is their space. I will hand that to Ant. This is their space. But we also recognize, Ant, how we also are still overall respectful to our guests. But you feel insulted, so I give you that right to have the conversation if you need to.
Can I?
All I'm saying, listen.
Let him tell us. Let him tell us.
Go ahead, Ant.
All right.
Is he still?
I will be quick.
First of all, gentlemen, this is Sarah's space, not our space.
You are correct.
Yes.
This space belongs to Sarah. Yes, but you came into this space, and all of us regulars are here all the time. You're immediately condescending, trying to big show us, telling us all these shows you've been on, like that's relevant at all to any of the points being made. You know, where you've been, who you've talked to. Like, it's tiresome. Like, we can't have a discussion about the points. We just have to listen to your bibliography. We don't want to leave.
Okay.
You leave.
Well, guess what?
Like
then if the tomato doesn't want me on anymore, then
we want you here.
She has the right.
Yeah, you want to hear? Just show some fucking respect.
No. The guy who just wait, hold on. Can I just say something?
Number one, none of you, hold on. None of you put me in the middle of this. You are all welcome to my platform. Let's make that clear. Go ahead, Brian.
The guy who just said he wants to watch somebody fuck me in the ears talking to me about respecting people. I find that very ironic.
Around here.
Yeah, you're.
But Brian, can I point something out? Can I? Because
why are you kink shaming him? I thought you were for
really haven't had.
Right? I'll kink shame. I'll kink ask what, but I don't kink shame.
Brian, can I just say real quick, because what Ant's saying, what Sarah's saying, yeah, we come here regularly, and no, we don't want you to go. We like you being here. You know, you do bring your audience, which is wonderful. But probably more of the people who come up here tend to be conservative, but we get all walks of life. Me personally, I lean right, but I'll tell you one thing, I am center, right? So I wanted to ask you something more specific.
Can I just respond real quickly? Real quickly to what you just said. I don't know if any of you have ever watched my show. And by the way, to that other guy who said I was trying to big time people, no, I don't do that. But the reason why I said, have you ever watched my show before, is that I rarely ever have people that I agree with. Once in a while I do. Like tomorrow I have once in a while I like to debate people that I disagree with. I don't like having a love fest and having people on my show that are very anti-Trump. Now tomorrow's an exception. I have Destiny on once in a while, but anybody who watches my show knows I get the furthest people to the right on my show almost on a daily basis.
Why don't you ask Brian? Why don't you have Spin City News to your side? He is as far right as it can get.
Goodness. Yes,
if you want to really test the water, that
would be great. You know who I was texting today? I was just texting Jake Lang today. I'm trying to get him on my show. I mean,
Spin City is on a different level. You
know why I do that? You know why I do that? I'll tell you why. First of all, I think it's more entertaining. While we all talk about serious topics, right? We all care. I imagine we are all passionate people, absolutely, and that's great. But in my business, right, you have to give people a reason to listen, other than just maybe stimulating talk. I try not to take anything too seriously, but I will be lying if I say I don't mention on the air tomorrow that I was in a debate with somebody and they mentioned an act of somebody with a male piece of work doing something to my ear. I mean, if I don't bring that up tomorrow, I feel like I'm lying to my listeners.
For years.
I feel like, and I'm not trying to be condescending. I think it's actually very funny.
Figure of speech. I didn't invent that expression.
Every time
it's very funny.
And in all fairness, I did warn Brian when before we kicked off. I said, "Look, the beginning's going to be pretty good. We'll have a good conversation, back and forth, whatever." I said, "But as the evening goes, once we get over that midnight marker, at least midnight for me, it's the witching hour. It gets more degenerate, right? So you're watching it in live time how it happens." I just want to say hello to Del Phil. Brian, do you feel used, sir? Do you feel like you are keeping my dead channel afloat?
Only with the no. She's been very nice to me. I only feel used with some of the women I've dated recently, but other than that,
you feel like the rest of us.
And shout out to Dixon gifting out 5 memberships over on Dragon Fist side. Lots of love coming over there on that end. I love that. And actually, I want to hand it over to Andrew because he has been waiting patiently, and he was invited as well. So Andrew,
I was a little hard. I was a little hard on Andrew. Andrew, I apologize as well. I might have been a little hard on you earlier, so I apologize for that.
No problem. I appreciate that, sir.
I apologize, Andrew. I have to step away to use the ladies' room, and I'm going to go make some more coffee. Clay, would you mind taking over for me, sir, and just making sure everybody minds their manners? You know the drill, and you all will be respectful to Clay when he says "shut the fuck up." You do so. Thank you. I'll be right back.
If you're going to the restroom, make sure to clean your ears. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andrew.
Few tips involved.
Well, no, I wasn't. What I was going to mention to you earlier, it's been a while now, so it's like hard to go all the way back to those points. You had asked a question about Trump. I think I wrote it down, actually. Oh, yeah, it was about the Epstein files and the Iran war. And you were saying, can anyone tell me, like, why he left, why Ghislaine Maxwell is still in that prison, in the cushy prison? And I said, I can give you the reason. And I can also give you the reason why the Iran war is completely logical. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Are you familiar with the National Strategic Defense Plan? It's posted online.
Well, let's go one thing at a time.
Let's start. Iran war.
Let's start with Maxwell. Let's try to do one thing at a time. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, it would feel nice to us if we thought the job of the president was to make us happy. But that is, of course, not the job of the president. And our feelings really don't, other than getting them elected, really aren't part of the equation. What the president does want to do is keep, and this isn't, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying just objectively, is keep the wealth in America. He wants to keep the wealth here. That is part of his job, and grow that wealth. So if 99% of it is in the Epstein files, guess what, bro? You're not getting it. And that's just, and if Ghislaine Maxwell, and I'm not saying I like that, I hate it.
Okay, but Andrew,
it's just objectively true. And if Ghislaine Maxwell has information on these people, she's getting
Andrew.
That's the reason.
Andrew, here's why I disagree. 5 months ago, Maxwell was sitting with her lawyer in a deposition. Maxwell said, quote, "I'm not giving up any information or any names unless I get a full pardon." At that moment, if Donald Trump and his former personal attorney, Todd Blanche, had sent her back to the other prison, I probably would be inclined to agree with you. But they didn't do that. And I also find it ironic that Blanche, when he spoke to Maxwell, several days later, she was sent into this Club Med facility with a dog, with preferential treatment, with food delivered to her own cell. She's allowed visitors and internet, unprecedented treatment for somebody who is one of the biggest sex traffickers. So Andrew, let me ask you again.
I'm not defending it. I'm just telling you the reason.
Yeah, but that's not a logical reason, because 5 months ago, she literally just said she wasn't giving up any information unless she got a full pardon. So when you hear somebody say that, and you're the president of the United States, wouldn't you say, well, screw her, she's not giving up any information? He hasn't even ruled out a pardon. This is one of the biggest sex traffickers on the planet. And if he at least said, no, she's not getting a pardon, at least I'll have a little respect for him. He won't rule out a pardon. Do you know why, Andrew? I'll tell you why.
I just told you why.
It's either one of two things. Either Donald Trump is protecting his pedo friends, and or he's protecting himself. It's one of the two. It's
He's
the only logical
American
explanation.
Wasn't Epstein charged under the Trump administration in like 2018 when no one else would?
So that's so give me a reason then. If you think I'm wrong,
well,
why is it
your reason?
Okay,
I would say what's the point of like, is there any like some crazy like
the charges in Florida
for having a car? No, I'm not talking about the Florida charges. In 2018 there were other charges under Trump. Yeah, her having a dog somehow completely changed the fact that she's in prison. Like I just don't understand.
Yes. Yeah, so it's more than just it's more than just having a dog, as I mentioned before, and I'll mention again. It's VIP treatment of allowing her to have the internet when guests come, giving them free food. She has food delivered to her room. She's allowed yoga. She's allowed to play tennis. She's allowed in the middle of the night to go out and exercise and do whatever she wants to do. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Wait. And the point that I'm trying to make, if you're a non-violent criminal or you're not a sex trafficker, that would be one thing. But add it all together, my friend. After she said she's not giving up any information, they kept her there. That's
but she said she's not giving up information to them. She didn't say, I'm not threatening information I have on you. Like, that's a totally different thing.
She said
obviously, if you're in jail, anybody, if you're in prison, but just hear me out reasonably. If you're in prison and you have information that can make your life easier, who's not going to use that information? And she clearly has it. And she's clearly getting an easier life. And about the internet thing, your boy Newsom is giving tablets to all the prisoners and they're fucking jerking off all day.
Which I disagree with. So going back to Ghislaine Maxwell, again, 5 months ago, she said, quote, I'm not giving up any names or information unless I get a full pardon. That's a pretty blatant statement.
Do we all that's not the same as I'm not blackmailing you. I'm not. She didn't say I'm not blackmailing anyone.
Do you think? Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think Todd Blanche went over there?
It's a blackmail operation.
Do you really think?
Why wouldn't you blackmail them?
Do you? Okay, let me ask you guys a question. Do you really think Todd Blanche went over there to interview her because they care about the victims? Because Todd Blanche has already said there's no new investigations. They're not even looking into anything. Why do you think Todd Blanche went over there?
Both parties protecting their own. 100%.
Well, I agree. I agree. I think we
all agree.
One side there's a little bit more, maybe.
There are prominent people on both sides of the aisle that are in the Epstein files. But here's what I will say: Joe Biden or a Democrat didn't put Maxwell in a Club Med facility. Okay. I believe if you asked Joe Biden, if he was president today, which I'm glad he's not, but if he was, if they asked Joe Biden, hey, Joe, will you rule out a pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell? Immediately, he would say yes.
Yeah, but they probably pulled Epstein out alive anyway. They took him out of there.
You can't presume these things, Brian, but I understand.
Pardon his son.
Yeah, Andrew. I'm
not saying it's right, Brian. I'm not defending the position. I'm just telling you why they're doing it.
Andrew. Yeah. Let me just ask Andrew.
Is the Epstein operation working at the highest level? Epstein getting out of jail and Ghislaine getting a cushy cell is the operation itself working.
Can it just be possible, Andrew, that you would agree with me that most likely the reason why Todd Blanche interviewed her, the reason why they put her in a Club Med facility, the reason why they call people like us, all of us, Donald Trump called all of us stupid if we even talk about the Epstein files, is because maybe Donald Trump has a lot to hide. Can't that be possible?
Oh, he wants to protect the money. That's what I was explaining to you, which logically he should do. Same thing with Iran. There's a national strategic defense plan that the Democrats follow and the Republicans follow. And that's how people were able to predict that this was going to happen before it happened. That's exactly how they predicted it. So that's what I'm saying is, like, you may not agree and I may not agree with the Ghislaine thing or the Iran thing, but there is a logic behind it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah, I think it's the definition of corruption, just like the $1.7 billion slush fund. This is corruption at the highest level. Donald Trump makes Richard Nixon look like a saint. It is corruption at the highest level. Trump has made over $3 billion since he took office. And people want to brag about how he doesn't take a salary, his $400,000 a year, which he donates so the White House can be plated in gold. They have a UFC fight in Washington, D.C. in a couple weeks. You had Pete Hegseth on Monday, who was campaigning. He's the Secretary of Defense, and he was campaigning in Kentucky. Meanwhile, we're in war in Iran, and we're deploying more troops over there. Meanwhile, while he's campaigning, the level of corruption in this administration, if you added every single president, and you could look this up, every single president and the money they made that they were in office, combine all of them in American history, Trump has made more money in office than anybody. The guy sells
not
Bibles.
in proportion.
Not defending. I'm not defending the position.
But in the first one, he was the first one to lose money, though. And
yeah, he didn't. He didn't increase that worth by more than every other presidents.
He's made over $3 billion.
He told
you
this
time.
Now it'd only be like 3 times his net worth. Like other presidents have
how much money?
100 times their net worth.
How much money has Donald Trump made since he took public office?
But they all do that. AOC's worth 30 million. Pelosi's worth 120 million. They all have $100,000 worth millions of dollars. With our money.
All right, I can't hear anything.
$1 billion, dude. $3.5 billion.
So wait,
you're gonna make more money.
Hold on. We can go around the room. Clay, did you have any thought to add to that?
Me personally, I don't really give a damn about the money.
It's a stack of $1 bills. Dude.
Hold on. We're gonna go one at a time, Fatty. We're gonna go, Fatty. We're gonna go one at a time.
Can I just respond to Andrew real quick, because Andrew said something that is completely factually not true.
Sure.
He just said that AOC is worth $30 million. AOC's net worth is around $200,000. I don't know what you're talking about, Andrew, and where you got that information from. It's just not true. Okay, so what is AOC worth? What is AOC worth? Tell me. Where'd you get that from?
All the time, and he has to know it. It's even crazier.
Okay, the guy that's wearing the headphones that said the fact that you believe that is crazy. So show me evidence that AOC is worth $30 million.
Well, I never made the claim of 30 million.
I actually don't know if it's 30 million.
She's not worth 200,000.
What is she worth? What is she worth?
Like her house. I mean, her house is worth more than that.
Her net worth is $200,000.
Yeah, she makes $180,000
because now they know we're on to them. Same thing with Ilhan Omar that magically just fixed her documents.
But you just made a claim. You just made a claim about AOC that's not true. It's not true.
Okay, so I retract my claim about AOC, but I don't retract it about Ilhan Omar or Nancy Pelosi. I'd have to fact check myself on AOC. Fair enough. But it's all of them. Dude, that's what I'm saying.
But there are levels. Okay, I believe that Nancy Pelosi probably conducted insider trading. I am not a Nancy Pelosi fan. However, this is unprecedented. We're not talking about millions. It's all bad. I get it. We're talking about billions, a multi-billion-dollar crypto scheme where Donald Trump has enriched his family billions of dollars, a $5.5 billion resort on, given by terrorists, a $400 million jet. We're talking about selling Bibles and selling gold sneakers and selling a bunch of garbage. The guy made, how much money did he make on these Trump phones?
He's allowed to sell things.
He's not. It's a fucking emoluments clause, dipshit. You're not allowed to make money off of fucking anything when you're in office being the president. Because you have the influence.
There's also a Trump organization that his family runs that doesn't have to stop operating.
Ever fucking done this ever?
Let's talk about the Trump organization.
Oh my God!
Billionaire president. Why are you so angry?
Ask me how much.
Go ahead, Shaman. You see your hand raised.
Thank God, gentlemen. With all the mutual respect, you understand that all we're doing right now is whataboutism back and forth. And although it is entertaining, it also is a very bad habit that both sides have put us against each other on different issues over and over and year after year, election cycle after election cycle. So what we should consider doing is remembering that at all times, and that, in fact, we all seem to agree that the Epstein files is the most horrendous shit we've seen in a long time in America, and it's being covered up by both parties of the elite, of which none of us, we're all peasants too. And perhaps we should recognize that we all have some certain fundamental issues that we all agree upon, and we should consider talking about some solutions on that, because I don't see a very good solutions right now.
With that
Fair enough.
I got solutions.
I agree with you.
No, you don't know the emoluments clauses, bro. I'm sorry.
Just pointing out what we all agree on.
Yeah,
I just
don't
want to
know if it's controversial at all.
Emoluments clause has nothing to do with selling things to individuals.
Hold on. Go ahead, Spin. You've been quiet. Go ahead, Spin. I see your hand.
So, Ben, let me ask this question. Have you seen or have you reviewed any of the Epstein files?
Yes, I have. And by the way, it's Brian. Ben is the worst insult.
I'm sorry.
By the way,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no, it's okay. You can say no. I'm making a joke. But
I
I'm saying
apologize.
people,
Spin City News.
It's okay. Someone can
Hold
say
on.
that they want to see me get fucked in the ear, and that's not as bad as calling me Ben Shapiro.
Amen.
Shapiro does suck.
Fuck that guy.
No, that radio voice.
I have to say I appreciate how much you have a good sense of humor, Brian, and you're able to roll with the punches.
Hey man, I don't take myself too seriously, man. I mean, the Wilsons make cartoons about me, so
I'll start a YouTube the day that Ben Shapiro cries on the camera. I'm going to start a YouTube channel just to mock that motherfucker.
That's actually very funny.
Hold on, Angry Patriot, Spin City. We interrupted you, man. Let him hit it.
We did. I apologize.
Spin.
So we have established that you have looked at some or most of the Epstein files, right?
I never said most. No, I didn't say that, but I have looked at some of the files. Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So in the Epstein files, other than Donald Trump's name,
sure,
would you agree or disagree that you have or have not found any evidence that you could show me that he has done anything wrong?
So the FBI thought that there was credible enough evidence that they actually interviewed a girl at the time that was 12 years old. As far as getting an explanation as to why they didn't further the investigation, they didn't provide any. I would also say that there are still 3 million files that nobody has seen in the general public.
I agree.
Why? Because the Trump administration has broken the law and they haven't released the files. And Todd Blanche says they don't plan on releasing those files. So think about this. In the evidence or the files that they have released, they've shown stories of a limo driver that overheard claims that he allegedly overheard Donald Trump talking about raping a young girl, I'm sorry. Yeah. So this is
unsubstantiated.
Okay. But the FBI thought
I'm asking, it wasn't substantiated, correct?
We don't know that. We don't know why the FBI didn't continue to investigate. No, here's what we do know. The FBI thought it was credible enough to interview her. And then we have a story of a girl that apparently allegedly committed suicide. And there are police officers on the record that said it didn't look like a suicide, yet nobody was charged. They didn't continue the investigation. So my opinion is that, yes, there is some credible evidence in there that we've seen, and there's still 3 million files that we haven't seen. Donald Trump isn't the only guy in there. There's other Bill Gates and David Copperfield and Howard Lutnick, by the way, who lied. He told us 6 months ago he was never on Epstein Island. And then when some of the files were released, we saw pictures that he was on Epstein Island. Then he said, I was there with my kids. And then in those pictures, we didn't see any pictures of his kids. There are so many people, both on the left and the right, that I think did horrible things. And unfortunately, to this day, they have not been prosecuted and there hasn't been justice. Let me ask you a question now. To this day, there's only been 2 people that have been held to account. I know that there was an arrest in Great Britain. I get that.
Yeah.
Those people are Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Can we at least agree that there are more people than just 2 people that have committed horrible crimes? I didn't even say Donald Trump, but can we agree that there are more than 2 people that should be held to account? Can we agree on that?
I would concede to say that, yes, there are other people that may or may not, because it hasn't been done, correct? Or like charges or whatever filed against them.
Yeah, but I'm asking, right, I understand, but I'm asking you your opinion, okay, an educated guess. To this day, Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell are the only 2 people that have been held to account. Do you think it's probably true that more people should have been charged with crimes and should have been held to account? More people probably did some really bad things and they're being protected. Is that fair?
On the basis of only assumption, yes.
Okay, and that's the point. Now, I'm not just talking about Donald Trump. Like I said, I think Bill Clinton probably did some bad things too. The thing about Trump that is so unique about this situation, not only is he named in there close to 40,000 times, we still have 3 million files that are not being released. I don't care whether you're on the left or the right.
Brian, I am by no...
Go ahead, Spin.
I am by no means dismissing or remissing the fact that over 3 million or whatever the count is. I know there's different, opinions on that, right?
Yeah.
But would you say in all logic, without the rest of the files being released, without them, could one still make the assumption that it may or may not be true?
So here's what I'll say to that, and I'll give you two options here, and you can tell me what you think. To me, it's one of two things. Either Donald Trump is protecting some of his pedo friends.
Hold on, Sarah. There's an echo.
It killed itself.
Oh,
I don't know. I still have it, but okay. I apologize, Brian.
I don't think it's me. Either Donald Trump is protecting some of his pedo friends, and according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's exactly what he told her. One of the last conversations that Marjorie Taylor Greene claims she had with Trump in the Oval Office, he told her to stop with the Epstein stuff because he didn't want to hurt his friends. I believe her. So it's either that, he's either protecting his pedo friends and or also protecting himself. It's got to be one or the other based on his behavior.
Or there's not enough evidence.
Well, or there's a pattern of behavior.
Okay, but
don't forget, guys, the entire Epstein file was under lock and key during both Republican and Democratic.
Can I please finish having a conversation?
Nope.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, Brian. You said you gave me two options.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
I apologize. I have a one-track mind, so if you will go back and repeat it.
So it's okay. I'll land my plane and I'll just say this. Okay. I think we probably agree on this. I don't care whether you're on the left or the right. If Joe Biden at any point in his administration could have released the files and he didn't, I think that's awful. I would say the same thing about Barack Obama. But one thing I will tell you, Obama's not in the Epstein files and Joe Biden's not in the Epstein files. I want accountability whether you're
Wait a minute. I have to give you a little bit of pushback on that statement. You just alluded, and we know for a fact, I'm sure everybody here can agree that there are still 3 million more files to the
files
released.
that were released. To the files that were released. Joe
to
Biden
those files, yes,
correct.
Those two specific people are not in there.
Yeah,
so
and I will. Yeah, and I will also just.
So how could you legitimately say or allude the fact that they could be there? That's the pushback.
Yeah, because in the files that have been released, Joe Biden and Barack Obama aren't in there once. I would also say that Donald Trump was his best friend for 10 years. I haven't seen any pictures of Joe Biden with.
I have not either. I have not either.
Let's go to the first lady real quickly, Melania Trump.
Sure.
In the Epstein files that were released,
movie star.
In the files that were released, Melania Trump was seen, and we saw the emails back and forth with Maxwell. She tried to separate herself. She did this, as I'm sure you saw last month, a really weird, bizarre press conference that even Donald Trump didn't even know, according to people around him, that she was going to do, because I think there's more information to come out. But
I think I streamed that one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But listen, if you know somebody that doesn't necessarily, just because you know somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you were involved in something. But when you're best friends with somebody for 10 years, that brings you a little bit closer than a former president that has never been seen, or, as far as we know, with Epstein. Listen, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Again, I'll repeat it. It's either he's protecting some of his pedo friends and or he's protecting himself, maybe both. I think that's based on his behavior, the fact that he doesn't want us talking about this, the fact that he calls us stupid. Remember his own supporters with binders, the Jack Posobics of the world and others that were with Pam Bondi. We haven't even talked about her, but they had phase 1. He made those people look like morons. Where was phase 2? Where was phase 3? Okay,
again, but here's another thing on what you said. Donald Trump, to this date, and I'm sure you can agree, has not been convicted, but accused by unimportant people of being a PDF file.
I don't think a 12-year-old girl is unimportant.
I am not saying any. I'm talking about adults. I'm not remissing the fact that a minor under the age of 18 can make that claim. Okay.
What about all the women what about all the women that have accused him of sexual assault?
Justify and minimalize as much as you want to. You know he's a fucking rapist.
I can't have a fucking conversation.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me interrupt with a couple super chats. Uncle Fatty, thank you, Uncle Fatty, with the 666. Oh, I love the evil. Don't mind the bootlicking mushroom gobblers, Brian. Really, they're really not all cult members. Yeah, they are. But Roy Cohn is haunting their dreams. Shout out to you. Thank you, Fatty.
The guy doesn't know what the annihilation clause is.
Calvin sends in the big five. Bill and Hillary testified before Congress. Who on this panel thinks Trump shouldn't have to face the exact same congressional scrutiny?
That's a really good question, by the way. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton did testify under oath. Don't you think we should get Melania Trump and Donald Trump to testify under oath? See, they set the precedent. What's up?
They all should. Yeah, everyone.
Wife. She was at the fucking island with their kids.
Agree.
Where was she?
Agree.
Because we have seen pictures of them out on the lighthouse pole. Yep. Right.
We've all agreed they should all be held accountable.
We all agree.
Why is it that Hillary Clinton, I'm going to defend her here, eight investigations into Benghazi led by Republicans, they found nothing. Why is it that these MAGA Republicans don't want to testify under oath? When Kash Patel was asked not that long ago, did you tell Pam Bondi that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? He wouldn't answer the question. You know why? Those are Trump mushroom gobblers. They're covering for Donald Trump. They can't answer a question honestly. He knew that Donald Trump was all over the Epstein files. Remember when Elon Musk tweeted that out? Remember when they had their little riff? Everybody in the administration knew that Trump was all over the Epstein files, but under oath, they wouldn't answer the question because they're only answering to one person.
It's Trump and
the orange turd.
Hey, but Brian,
our Democratic New Yorkers, man. And
Brian, but if you remember, Bill and Hillary Clinton threw each other under the bus.
I don't defend the Clintons when it comes to that. All I'm simply saying is
I understand, but you said you're going to defend Hillary for a second. But the irony of the situation, like me being the calm one and Ant being the tyrant right tonight, is this. They both threw each other under the bus. They both completely destroyed each other's deposition. Did you watch the depositions?
So I watched them both, and I will answer you by saying they both testified under oath, something that Trump has refused to do.
So what?
Okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Completely shut down the fucking Congress because they want to have people testify under oath, right? And they don't want to fucking let them testify under oath. Why would that be? Possibly that they don't want people to testify under oath.
They didn't even want Jack Smith's testimony out there in public.
No, absolutely not. It's just claims. It's just claims from random people that don't really matter, unimportant people, right?
Okay, but if a large portion of the American wealth is in there, is he supposed to let it go up in flames? What is he supposed to do? If it's a significant portion of American wealth, he doesn't care about you, Fatty. He cares about American wealth and preserving it. So you're not answering that point.
You fucking
he doesn't care about you. He cares about American.
He's the shit.
All right, you start talking over each other. I talk money. You start talking over each other. I talk money. Fatty, please, Fatty. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hold on. I'm not done. No.
And hold each other fucking accountable.
Hold on, Fatty.
Real men hold each other accountable.
Hey, the host is talking. Shut up.
Fatty, you know better. Hold tight, okay? Dixon with the big two. Does Brian know he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago? Yes or no?
Yeah, that was after I believe there was sex trafficking going on, and Jeff Epstein took an underage girl to Mar-a-Lago. So yeah, I'm not going to give Donald Trump credit
for that.
He was
hiring his waitresses.
He
hired a waitress.
Well, let me just say this to Andrew real quickly.
It was Virginia Guthrie. You know,
wait, hold on, Fatty. I want to hear this.
Right? To just
hold on.
I want to hear this.
Andrew, real quickly. And by the way, the Guthrie. Yeah, Andrew. Here's the deal, right? The Republicans, the MAGA Republicans, including Donald Trump, have set the precedent. They decided to subpoena Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. So now let me tell you something. Since they've set that precedent, as soon as Donald Trump is out of office and if the Democrats have control, they immediately need to subpoena
Good.
Everybody.
They already did that to him. They already hit him with 90-something charges before he was elected.
No. Hold on. I'm not talking to you about charges. Listen to what I'm saying.
Subpoena?
Donald Trump, Melania Trump need to testify under oath about Jeffrey Epstein. I guarantee you they will do everything in their power not to do that.
Can I ask one pushback question? One question.
Yeah.
Because my question was this. I'm not defending it. I'm giving you the logic like before. If a large portion of the American GDP, of American money, of American treasure is going to be destroyed by putting at, let's say it's 40%, 30%, because the top 1% own a large portion of the wealth. Should he expose that and destroy the country, hurt the country, or should he do what he's doing for the good of the country? That's what I'm asking.
So let me get this right. You're making the case
option, because you said there's only two options. He's either protecting himself.
First of all, there's no evidence that for the people that are in the Epstein files that he is allegedly covering up for, that's 30% of the wealth in the country. I completely disagree with you there. That's number one. Number two. And I'm giving you an answer. I'll give you a direct answer. I don't, and pardon my French, I don't give a fuck how much money these people have. If you molest a child, I don't care how much money you have. You could be Elon Musk for all I care. You need to be held to account.
Burn them alive in the city.
Yes,
I
absolutely. 100%. So that's my answer.
But the president is supposed to grow the GDP of the country.
Oh,
that's what he cares about. So wait, I'm just telling you from his perspective what he cares about. He doesn't care about what we think. He cares about is that number getting bigger.
If that was the case, he would disallow a bunch of people over the border.
He's not going to cut it in half.
He would disallow a bunch of immigrants to be trying to go.
Allow me, because hold on, stop for a second. Out of respect, because Dragon Fist just got a big raid over from Cool V1C, and I do want to call that out for you. It's coming in, so I want you to acknowledge and be able to say thank you or whatever you want to say to them.
Thank you so much. Who's that? Cool VC?
Yeah, Cool V1C sent in a big raid. He said ghetto raid. So I'll work with you tomorrow on how to turn your raids on. That way they can actually do a full raid over to you. But he sent a ghetto raid, which means he dropped the link and told his chat to come over and drop in on yours.
Awesome.
But yes, he says, great job debating Brian Shapiro. And then this is Cool V1C. I believe they've been stalk watching us all night, by the way.
I do know this. I don't know who that is, but I do know this. There's like 20 or 30 different podcasts that just are obsessed with what I do. So I guess
congratulations.
I find it whether people are making cartoons about me, or like a guy like Jake Rattlesnake is making like videos about me every day, or it's funny. I was talking to him the other day.
It's not.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm actually flattered by it that people are so obsessed that they have podcasts dedicated to my podcast. I think it's a little weird, but I'm getting used to it, and I've learned to embrace it.
They're most loyal, that's for sure.
That sounds fun.
Always.
Let me get through the rest of these really fast because there's a few I want to get to. At least Andrew is able to benefit off of this, so off of our stalkers. So I take that as a win because we love promoting Andrew and trying to get him out there and network, and it's working. So fuck yes. Dell says, Christ is God with the 777. That's a shot back at you, Uncle Fatty, with the 666. How long, Nate? He's a good person to have in your chat, so I'm glad he's over there on your end, Andrew. He's very supportive and loyal. He says, way to hold Brian to, I'm guessing he meant to the fire tonight.
Thank you. I'm a fire.
Brian is a fire.
Yeah, bro.
Big Bad Mama sends in 5, says Bannon, Musk, and Lutnick each exchanged friendly emails with Epstein for years after his initial arrest and conviction. Investigate them.
Very true.
Any
Very
quick
true.
Thoughts to that? Anyone have a
investigate them all, please?
Investigate them all.
Brian is fire. I there you
go. Here, let me put it on here. Let's do this. You could do
Brian
this.
Brian is fire. Brian is fire. Yes.
Maybe it was a double entendre.
You're
red hair.
Oh my God, is that Ben Shapiro?
And not quite dead. I believe this is over on Andrew's end. Says good job tonight with Shapiro. It's been a great exchange. If you guys want to do a one-on-one debate at another date, I'm more than happy to piece that together.
No ear
fucking tonight.
Now would be a good time to promote my Pushing the Limits
there we
mugs
go.
and glasses and shirts. I feel like Candace Owens. I feel like a grifter.
Oh, nice. We're all grifters in this space, according to.
I would actually agree with Brian on that.
Wait, hold on a second. Does anybody know who this bobblehead is?
Ronald Reagan?
No. If anybody can guess it, I'm going to be very impressed. Think 90s.
Alec,
think
the guy from
90s.
Different Strokes? Alec?
No, think
Richard
it's a
Nixon?
90s iconic movie.
Oh, that's the guy from Office
Space.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Bill. I got
Lumbergh.
it. I win. Do I win one?
Win.
You
You're gonna fuck his ear.
Now you have to send one.
I thought Office Space was somewhere in the 2000s, not 90s.
I thought it was late 90s. I
thought it was a dude from
maybe in 2000.
Because it started in Britain, started in the UK, and then they brought it over here.
No, not the
Did
Office.
you guys see my stapler?
Not The Office.
Oh,
It's
you're right.
totally
I'm
different.
getting them mixed up.
Office Space.
Office Space. Yeah, I've seen both. I was getting them conflated.
But this
for
is
some
the
reason.
Bill Lumbar. That's the name.
Bill
Lumbar.
Lumbergh. I need better decorations. This
Right.
is literally the first.
You sort it out eventually. I'm happy you got a new studio and you got to try it out tonight with us. Calvin says in the big two. Brian said after Trump leaves the office, not during.
You're an undercover Trump fan. Look at that.
Trump chocolate. I give this to my Trump. I give this to my Trump mushroom gobbler friends. After I debate them, I give them a Donald Trump chocolate bar.
Look, you eat that for breakfast.
Oh my God.
And then I hope they have diarrhea afterwards.
Melted all over their boots.
God.
Lick it off.
You should make it.
Do you put like a laxative in it or something?
You got it from there.
It's my Trump puncher.
Man, even Spin doesn't have that.
You have a little Trump.
Good God, man.
Wait, any other toys up there?
Well, other toys that I can't talk about.
Anything to fuck ears up there?
Wait, are you talking about the cactus? Because now I'm uncomfortable.
Oh, this is fake. This is fake. It's fake. It's a fake cactus. It's fake.
Phil says you are, well, it's a grammatical error here. You are the cartoon, Brian. You've always been the cartoon. I guess that works then. If they make cartoons of you and you're already a cartoon, then it works, right?
You know what, man? This is what a lot of these people don't understand is that the more they talk about me and the more they mock me and the more they attack me on social media, the more money I make from it. You know,
I'm not fair game.
I mean, you know, I broke Andrew Wilson to the point where he made multiple cartoons about me. I would imagine he paid a pretty good amount of money to do it. And, you know, I'm flattered by it, really.
Are they good in business now, too?
What did they say?
I mean, I got them so upset that they actually paid me to travel across the country to debate on a topic that I told them I knew little to nothing about. And they just wanted me to be a villain because they knew they would make money off me. And I said, you know what? I'll take a 3-day vacation and go to South Carolina and hang out on the beach with my manager. And I had a good old time. And I said, fine. If you hate me that much that you're willing to pay me a good amount of money to go out there to be a punching bag for 90 minutes, I'm game.
What did you do? You didn't accept Jesus as God?
No, I didn't. I definitely did.
The Orthodox Church supports child molestation. What would you say?
It's so funny, you know. Like if you guys wanted to, if you only debated on one topic, let's just say hypothetically, you guys were experts on one topic. Wouldn't you want to debate somebody that was also an expert? Like I don't understand that way of thinking. Like for me, as I've told you guys, my expertise or what I do is I talk about the news of the day. Right? The news of the week. That's what I do. I literally have never talked about feminism in my entire life. I believe in equality, sure, but I told them that and they didn't care. I think there are some people that are afraid to debate experts in a specific topic. They're like afraid to, right? How do you respect people like that?
Why did
right?
you debate feminism?
Because I got paid. Because I got paid.
Okay, I'll debate. Yeah, sure. Why not?
They took
care of my. They took care of my
yourself
flight.
as an expert. It's kind of crazy.
I'm not an expert at all. I never
Yeah,
said
exactly.
I was.
So why are you mad that they
you
didn't
debate
you on something you're an expert in? You're not an expert in anything. You're not an expert in anything.
I don't think he's saying he's mad.
I think you in anything.
I think
I'm not saying I'm mad at all. I'm
quite happy about it.
It's reverse.
You're kind of insulting me about it.
It doesn't work.
No, I'm actually happy.
I have a question when you're done reading the money, Sarah.
Thank you. Cool V1C. Oh, sorry. It's Cool V1C also sends in some love over on Injures. And shout out to LG, Jason, and others too for actually holding Brian Shapiro accountable for his hypocrisy. I was rooting for you guys the whole time. But see, Cool V1C, the panel has been open all night. And instead of actually coming on here and putting your opinions on the show and talking to Brian yourself, you bitched out and you stalked the show and you throw your opinions on a totally separate screen instead of bringing your fat ass up here and actually talking to him. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
That guy has Brian Shapiro fellatio syndrome or derangement syndrome.
It happens.
Oh my God.
Yeah, major Brian Shapiro derangement syndrome right there.
And more love over for Andrew. I love this, Andrew. I don't know if you're sitting at your
I don't
spot
think
right
those
now.
are coming in on mine.
Yeah, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
you.
I'm pretty sure it's either yours or because it has the chain link on it, which means it's not on my end. So it's either and they rated you. So, but he says law cows are made to be exposed. Congratulations.
I think Hall wants to milk me. I think he wants to milk me. That's what I think.
And LJK says entertainment fulfilled. And speaking of entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, you have a dono goal that you have not been hitting over on my end. And I'm the one that shuts this shit down if I'm not happy. So you've got 6.5 minutes to unfuck yourselves or everybody goes night-night and all of our fun is gone. You've got 10 donos to get in. Let's actually take a quick grift break, actually. Clay, would you like to show everyone how we do it? Let them know what they need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys know that Sarah's absolutely the 100% best moderator out here in these YouTube spaces, probably the world, actually probably the universe. You know, the universe may have actually been created just so that we could be entertained through the channel, The Raging Tomato. You're very fortunate to be here. I'm very fortunate to be here. Brian, you're very fortunate to be here. We're all so lucky. And yeah, the only way to continue the show is to put 10 by 10 donos down, or I'm sure that Sarah probably would love her favorite color, red.
Yes, I love my favorite color, red. There's over 300 watching between all of the channels, so there's no excuse. Spin, you're pretty good at this. Show them how it's done.
Well, you know, tonight I was on the cool, calm, and collected side, although my blood was boiling pretty badly. An ant just did my job for me, you know. But now the job is for you to donate to keep this shit alive. You know, channels do not run on no dollars. So make her holla.
There you go. And holler I will if I need to. Shaman, show them how it's done, sir.
Why don't you stop being a far leftist bitch or a far right MAGA earfucker and send in a donation? Any donation less than $5, and you're one of those two. If you'd like to keep this conversation going, we can have more talk, more conversation. Send in some information and questions you like. If you're too chicken to get up here and ask someone direct, then send $5. What the fuck? Save your stripper money for next week and spend it tonight to watch this ear fucking that's going on live.
Lots of ear fucking. I like the ear fucking jokes and how they run. Uncle Fatty, show him how it's done, sir.
There's my fan. It's my fan.
I couldn't hear you. I got something in my ear.
Pull that dick out of your ear.
Oh, something in there.
Is it a rubber cock?
There's little baby.
My.
There's a little baby tomato. We gotta watch out for the baby tomatoes.
Baby tomato, yes. My baby tomatoes are sleeping. Andrew, you're getting some love shown. How's it done, sir?
Yeah, she was right. Thank you guys. I was in the vertical chat. I didn't see you, so thank you for that raid and thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And Sarah did get up because she called me. I was watching the Knicks game. I know Brian was watching the Knicks game. We all got up after that to come do this for you. So make sure you show her some love as well as she's up here just to entertain you guys.
Thank you, Andrew. And I love how everyone heeds the call. I'm like, yo, what are you doing right now? LG.
Oh yeah, by the way, Sarah, I got like 4 messages that this was going on. I'm like, all right, I'll push the panic button.
Yes, I already knew you were, because I saw you already hit the chat early on, so I already knew you were here. LG, tell them what to do, sir.
Yeah, only Sarah provides bald gingers that we can all pile up on at the same time. Only Sarah can provide this type of entertainment. Therefore, you should reward her. Just throw her a few bucks the way, at least like a $10 super chat here or there. I actually just put one in the chat, so you can join me, say what you want, talk crap to us, talk crap to Brian.
Is that really Gyllenhaal?
Yes, I mean, I could see it though. I could see it.
He looks like a younger me.
No, Jake Gyllenhaal's not a Trump mushroom gobbler.
Oh my goodness. All right, Ant, you've had some spice tonight, sir. And I'm actually pretty proud of you because you usually sit pretty grounded and quiet on the panels and you don't really go crazy. But tonight you felt something and you were determined to express it. So get this chat going and tell them because you're not done.
Hey, chat, I got a deal to make with you. Tell you what, if you guys can meet the goal, before the end of the show, I will have a custom avatar made portraying me and Brian Shapiro having a boxing match, and you guys can decide who wins.
Fair enough. All right, Crow, what do we got to tell them? And then you are going to kick this off when we finish our grift break. I know you've been patient.
Yeah, like everyone's been saying, so it's pretty cool. Second time in a row I was on their panel. Give up your money, man. You paid those dollars for those XXX videos. This is much more entertaining. Put the money up.
Easy piece.
And why did I think you were about to say you were going to make a meme of you fucking Brian in the ear?
Oh my
God.
I don't do that.
Like, please
you gotta buy me dinner before I talk like
that. I'm just surprised you hadn't heard that before.
Is that, by the way, is that a thing? Do people actually do that?
It's just
people make AI porn. Yeah.
Do men cut off their dicks and call themselves women? Answer that question to yourself.
That's fair.
They're absolutely. They're called Nancy Mace.
And Andrew, the more I talk shit, the more they're going to send you money. So I'm going to keep talking shit. Fuck you, Vic. Hawks, keep sending Andrew all the money in the world. I love to see this. I've been supporting and hoping that Andrew fucking makes his way to the top 10 tier debaters, and he's on his way up. But yes, nobody's upset. He can just suck a dick. All right. And of course, our darling Jake Gyllenhaal says Fatty didn't know what the
annulments.
Oh my God.
Emoluments clause?
I like totally fucked that one up. Emoluments clause was and tried to play it off, but we don't forget. All right.
Do I get a Happy Meal out of this or something? No? You want me
there is somebody in the chat that is already making the ant in the ear fucking happen, and I will get it up on the screen.
Brian, add your address and he'll send you.
Say it out loud, Brian. I'll send you a DoorDash right now.
Sorry, what's that, Omar?
What's your address?
Do a Happy Meal.
No, I just want.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I just want some of you guys to call into my show tomorrow. That's all.
Dude, bring on the angry American. Trust me.
Destiny's sounds kind of fun.
Destiny.
What did you say, you camel jockey fuck? I have been very reserved.
You're racist. I'm trying to get you on his show. I'm trying to get
Where is the show, Brian?
Yeah, where is the show? Brian, where is the show?
I'll call in.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to camel jockey. I'm not going to a million times. Afghanistan doesn't have fucking deserts, buddy. I'm not going to give
you the exact address because I don't want to be sexually assaulted in the ear. But I will tell you that I am on YouTube at PTL Radio Show Live. I'm on Facebook, the Facebook fan page, Pushing the Limits. I'm on X. Those are probably, I'm on an FM AM station, but that's in Vegas. But it's 12 to 2 Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. So
where do you want people to call in?
I give out the number when I open up the phone lines. So I'll give it. So after Destiny comes on, I think he's coming on at noon. And then I'm probably going to play some clips, and I have a guest. So I'll probably start taking calls around 12:30, 12:45. I usually take about, Fatty, you listen to my show, right? Mr. Fatty?
An hour at least, yeah.
An hour, right? Yeah, I take about an hour of calls a day from all over the country, right? MAGA callers, half of them are MAGA callers, right?
Primarily, I'd say 90%.
Yeah, I get a lot of MAGA callers that call in, and we have a lot of fun, I think, right, Fatty? So
it's all right. It's a good show.
Are you accepting calls for Destiny? I have a few questions for that fucking jabroni.
What did you want? What would you ask him? What would be your number one question?
I don't know. I'd come up with something right off the top. What's his,
how's the court case going?
No, well, I wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it's
you can't talk about it. Probably.
That's Jake Gyllenhaal's fucking evil.
Yeah,
twin.
so
It's ruthless.
That's probably why you're not a radio host.
No,
Brian, I got a question before Ant goes off unhinged.
What?
Okay.
I have a question for Brian before Ant comes unglued again.
Go ahead.
Would you say, or would you agree that you have TDS?
No, I would say that if you ask a question like that, you probably have TFS, Trump fellatio syndrome. No, I'm not
Both of
deranged.
you guys have the problem.
It's an honest question,
and I'm giving you an honest answer. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. It's my job to cover the news and talk about him every day. You're not deranged when you call out Donald Trump for his behaviors, the things he says, the things he's done. Actually, I think it's deranged to not do that, to be a Mark Levin and to kiss his ass every day. Those are the people that are deranged.
But in this podcast, sir, you said, and I quote, "I hate Donald Trump. I'll roll it back and I will play it."
Yep. So first of all, I never denied that. Here's why I hate somebody like Donald Trump. Anybody who shits on our military, anybody who is a liable sexual abuser, anybody who
one example how he shit on the military.
We already went over that.
We went over that. I think you got to get.
Were you here?
I kind of want to get into something with Brian.
You got to for that gentleman who just said, "Name me one thing." I think you got to get the MAGA wax out of your ears because we've been doing it for 3 hours. We've been doing it for 3 hours. Am I deranged by calling out and separating fact from fiction? Absolutely not. Do you have Trump fellatio syndrome? I'll ask you.
No.
Okay. Well, good. So we both say no. Now we can move on. Great question.
And speaking of moving on, since you didn't hit the dono goal, we're down to one fat red dono or we quit. All right. So, and because you guys have actually been so kind and generous tonight, and I'm actually having a really fun time, I gave you, instead of 15 minutes, 30 minutes. It's hit it or quit it mode. Okay. But I do want to hand it over to Kraut, because Kraut did sit there patiently with his hand up and he waited so kindly. So, Kraut, if you wanted to jump in there, feel free to do so.
Yeah, Brian, I'll leave it up to you. We can either change the subject to when do you believe the country became divided, or we can keep this going about liability with, SA charges and everything.
We could talk about divided. We could talk about the divided part. So I think that's a good topic. So you can tell me if you disagree with me or not. I believe 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, while Republicans and Democrats didn't always get along, we were able to have more conversations. I remember when John McCain took the microphone from that crazy lady when she called him Barack Hussein Obama, a Muslim, and all this other stuff. And John McCain took the microphone away and he said, "No, ma'am. Barack Obama's a decent family man. And he's a decent person. We just disagree on policy." I believe that was the best moment in politics in my lifetime. And that was the moment that I said to myself, John McCain's not perfect. I couldn't stand Sarah Palin, but I believe John McCain could be a decent president. And I can't imagine Donald Trump, or most people, sadly, doing that. John McCain was a decent man. I didn't always agree with him. We've lost that in society. We are more divided now politically than I think we've ever been in my lifetime. I'm 46 years old. I think we're probably more divided racially. Do I put all of that on Donald Trump? No. but I certainly put a lot of it.
No,
on
because
Donald
all
Trump.
the stats show it was Obama.
Hold up.
It goes back much further than.
I gotta go to bed soon, so I just want like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, kind of uninterrupted. But I know that's not going to happen because it's an open panel. Yeah. But when do you think it started?
What's that?
Fucking Obama brought back racism.
When do you think it started?
Fucking dipshit.
When do I think? Wait, what? Somebody said dipshit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I heard that. Homeboy over here. Dipshit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. So I think in the history.
What about the Emily? Do you want to go off on that?
Yeah, you are wrong about it. You said something. You don't.
Can I say good night?
Can I say good night? Hold on. Let Brian and Kraut have the conversation, please. Yeah. I gave the floor to them.
Obviously, in the history of this country, we've always had some bit of division, right? I'd be lying if I said that wasn't the case. All I'm simply saying is over the course of the last 10 years, it's gotten a lot worse. It's gotten a lot worse. And I could think of one big reason. It's very sad. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish Democrats and Republicans could come together and work out a lot of the issues that this country's facing right now. We're extremely divided. I don't want that to happen. Yes, I put a lot of that responsibility on Donald Trump. He's a very divisive individual. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. And you know, when you attack half the country at Charlie Kirk's memorial service and you say you hate half the country, I don't think he's capable of bringing people together. Listen, there are a lot of Democrats out there that are very divisive as well, but the buck stops with the president of the United States. I think the reason why we are so divided today, I put a lot of that on Donald Trump. I mean, like I said, we were able to have civil conversations 10 years ago.
All right. So I'll give you my answer. I'll ask you one more similar question, then I'll give you my answer. It's not all on Donald Trump. Who else would you put it on?
I think at times you can blame Democrats as well. If I'm just going to sit here and just blame one side of the aisle, I think that would be extremely unfair. The reason why I bring up Donald Trump's name is because, you know, Joe Biden didn't threaten to execute 6 elected officials on the right. Joe Biden didn't blame a Republican for every issue we had in this country. Joe Biden didn't claim that Republicans rig every election. When you make statements like that, it's very harmful. It's very harmful for the country. And I'm going to say this, and a lot of you might disagree, and that's okay. It wouldn't be the first time in this conversation. Obviously, I blame Tyler Robinson ultimately for what happened to Charlie Kirk, and it was horrible. And I wish that didn't happen. I know people that were there. But I truly believe, and this is just my opinion, if Donald Trump wasn't reelected, I think Charlie Kirk is still alive today. If Donald Trump wasn't elected, Ashley Babbitt is still alive today. If Donald Trump wasn't elected, January 6th doesn't happen.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
that was
it doesn't happen.
January 6th.
All right, so I'll give you my answer, but real quick to what you just said, and sorry about my hair being in it. My earbud just died. I don't feel like getting my other one. Real quick, you can't blame Charlie Kirk's death because Trump got elected. That's kind of crazy. But if you want to get back on that, we will. But I'll give you my answer to the question I gave you. The first time I ever voted was for Obama, and I voted for Obama. That was the first time I ever voted. I seriously regret that vote because I believe the division started happening with Obama, and there's a lot of data to back that up.
There is?
Hold on. There is.
Who's the guy who started with the birther? Hold on. Who's the guy who started with the birther issue for 5 years?
With the what?
The birther issue. Who's the guy who said Barack Obama wasn't born in the country? Who's the guy who did that for 5 years?
Well, is that really dividing the country?
I can tell you.
Yes, it is. When you say, hold on, let me answer that. When you say with zero evidence that a man named Barack Obama wasn't born in the United States because of the color of his skin, which is really the only reason why Trump did that for 5 years, and then Obama shows his birth certificate. Yes, that is very divisive. I think it has racist connotations. And I'm sorry, if you're going to compare the two, that really divided the country because it made people think, because a lot of people are very gullible in this country, and that made them think that Barack Obama wasn't born here, which was a complete fabrication and lie. And Donald Trump never apologized. So, I mean,
Never.
Come on. Way before Trump was president, way before, right, exactly. He's never apologized. Way before Donald Trump ever even got into office, he was spreading conspiracy theories and lies about Barack Obama.
But you're both wrong. He's right about the dates. It was during the Obama presidency, but so was the first smartphone, and it was really that started to spark the division.
You can actually object.
It was the
racist
phone.
white dudes.
It was the social media.
There's a very objective way.
Around 2008.
There's a very
in today's politics, all you hear from the left is white man bad, white man devil, fuck white man. And after Obama, we got the BLM movement, we got Antifa and all that other bull crap, which I think the BLM was started by a couple of lesbians, but I'm probably mistaken about that.
What's your problem with lesbians? What's your problem with lesbians?
And before you answer the issue with lesbians, Mr. Omar would like to make his exit. He's going to head out for the evening.
Yeah, speaking of lesbians.
It's that beautiful hair you have.
Thank you. Speaking of lesbians,
you muted yourself.
I have no issue with lesbians. Like I don't condone their actions, but a couple of white lesbians started a movement like that.
Hold on. Omar, you muted yourself.
Lesbians having a rookie move.
You got to use your finger. You Omar, we didn't hear anything you said. You muted yourself.
I said, as the only real lesbian on this panel.
We didn't hear anything you said.
It's not even believable. Okay. Anyway, I want to say good night. Thank you so much, Sarah, Brian. Nice meeting you, man. I guess in a way you jumped into the fire, kind of, but there's fire.
This is nothing new to me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good, man. The only way we move conversation is forward. But I don't think I think we found common grounds. Everyone, we're gonna burn pedophiles.
Yeah, we all like lesbians. We all like lesbians.
And we love lesbians.
Lesbians for the
especially
win.
the beautiful ones. The other ones, Spin. Great conversation tonight. God's favorite aunt. Wow.
Good night.
That was amazing. Kraut Mick, nice meeting you, Uncle Fatty. Jake Gyllenhaal, you look like a 19-year-old me, bro. Keep it up. Andrew, I'll show you. I'll bring a picture next time. Clay, as always, Sarah.
Thank you, Omar. We appreciate you.
Everybody.
Sarah, may I add a little bit of comedy to this for just a second?
Sure, quickly, and then I want to hand it back to Kraut.
Okay, I'm going to share. I told you I would make this happen.
Oh, no, not another video.
It's 7 seconds long.
It's not a dick in his ear, right?
No, it's nothing that bad.
Okay, because we can't have that on the screen. Oh.
Oh, that's amazing. Fantastic.
All right.
Yes.
It's amazing
That's funny.
It's amazing what AI can do. You wouldn't believe how creative people are. And I say to myself, how do you have that much time on your hands to put all this stuff together, man? You should see some of the shit that people put about me on like social media with like the videos and stuff. It's wild, dude. It's
I have to give a shout out because yes, I may or may not have contributed to that. Shout out to STN Security. He does a lot more with the AI. He knows a lot more how to do prompts and stuff, but shout out to him for that.
He's really good.
And speaking of time, don't forget you do have a timer on that dono goal. You have about 15 minutes left. One big red dono, and you can be our panel superhero of the evening. That's all we need to continue. But if not, we'll shut down in 15 minutes. So it's up to you, chat. You want to be a superhero or not. All right, Kraut, I'll hand it back to you, sir.
All right. So, assuming I'm right about that statement, am I correct? A couple of white lesbians came up with that movement, Brian?
No, I'm not aware of that. I can tell you that of the Black Lives Matter movement, and I hate this argument. There were about 7 or 8 people that took advantage of the situation, but you had tens of millions of people who were not violent. I was one of them that protested peacefully around the country because we wanted equality and we were upset with what happened to George Floyd and police brutality. Yes, there were some people that did some violent things and some bad things that I certainly don't condone. But just because 7 or 8 people who created Black Lives Matter might have done some bad things and made a lot of money, it doesn't mean that the majority of the people that were a part of the movement weren't in it for the right reasons. So when people attack the Black Lives Matter movement, that's what I always talk about. A small handful of people took advantage of the situation, but most of the people that marched were there for the right reasons. And that's what I say to that.
All right, so I'll get on to what you feel.
As I just said to Jake Gyllenhaal, who didn't just listen to me, I said, yeah, if you did some bad things and violent things, I don't condone that. Did you not just listen to what I just said? The overwhelming majority of the people that marched, and there were tens of millions of people, did not burn things down. That doesn't mean I'm condoning anybody that did. Just like January 6th, there were 50,000 people there. Most of those people didn't do violent things, but you also need to call out the people that did. Are you willing to call out the people that did bad things on January 6th? Or are you going to make more fucking excuses and blame the FBI? I'm consistent, guys. If you did bad things,
are you talking to LG or me? Because you seem a little hyped to be talking to me.
No, it's just like Jake Gyllenhaal. He doesn't listen.
I didn't even say anything, bro.
How about all the people? How about all the people that
wasn't me?
Down?
That wasn't me.
I just said
that wasn't him. In all due respect, Brian, that was not him.
Then I apologize.
All right. Well, Brian, how about Antifa? Do you think Antifa is a good movement?
Fuck yeah.
So, first of all, I would have to learn who's running Antifa, who's funding Antifa, because when the Donald Trump's own administration testified under oath, they couldn't name who was funding it. They couldn't name a leader. They couldn't name anybody in the Antifa movement. So let me be very clear. It doesn't matter whether you're left-wing or right-wing and you're part of a group that endorses hate, whoever that group might be. I don't condone any group or people that do bad, violent things. But if you're going to label Antifa, which really means anti-fascist, which I don't think there's anything wrong with being anti-fascist.
That doesn't mean anything.
Okay,
so titles mean jack.
So
that's the name of the fucking group is anti-fascism.
So tell me, where are they being funded?
I can call myself the good guy.
And MAGA's name is Make America Great Again. Does that mean they make America great again?
Exactly. That's why titles don't mean nothing.
Yeah. If you're not anti-fascist, you're pro-fascism, you dumb
that's
fuck.
not true.
That's not true. That's
How is
not
it
true
not
at all.
fucking true?
You could still be neutral on it.
If you're neutral, then you are complicit.
Learn some logic, buddy.
Complicity is fucking condoning. Condoning is supporting. It's not fucking hard.
To be fair,
you're either anti-fascism or you're pro-fascism.
Do you want to save the
binary?
What are you?
Uncle Fatty, do you want to save the whales?
You've already chosen.
Uncle Fatty, do you want to save the whales?
I look forward to carving Big M and all you.
Do you want to save the whales?
I'll tell you that straight up.
Do you want to
save the whales or the shrimp?
Straight up.
Weren't the Nazis the National Socialist Party? Does that mean they're socialists?
All right, let me hold on a second. Let me hand it over.
Fucking balls.
Hitler was socialist.
Hold on.
Balls.
All right. Toasty so kindly gave up his seat earlier so that I could bring somebody else up who was invited. So I wanted to give Toasty some time to because I believe he had some questions for Brian. Toasty, go ahead, darling.
Well, hey, Sarah, I'm going to dip. So I just want to say 10 seconds. Thanks for having me on. And Brian, I want to kind of debate you a little bit more, man. But other than that, everybody have a good night.
Call into my show. You're welcome to call in anytime. Please do.
All right, man. I'll do that. And off the rip, my bad for getting aggressive and assuming shit. That's my fault.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate it.
Hey, man.
Crowd.
You're good.
I admit when I'm wrong, But all right, take it easy.
Nothing wrong with having a little bit of. Nothing wrong with being passionate. I don't take it personal. Well, it's really hard for me to really take something personal. Once in a while, it does happen. I think it happened once tonight.
Yeah, when Andrew had like a thumbnail, you got like super personal with him for some reason.
Well, yeah, when it comes to my family, and I don't know if you have any sisters or, when it comes to family members, and I don't believe Andrew meant it that way, but I think any reasonable person would understand when it's something about your family or your sister my sister passed away at a very young age. Yeah, I do take that personal. So I think most people would understand that.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Toasty.
All right. So can everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I just wanted to ask you, Brian, are you aware that Congress has already forced action? In November of 2025, Congress passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which President Trump signed into law.
Yes, I am.
Okay. So then why would you insist on pushing a narrative that Trump is protecting his pedophile friends?
Sure, I'll answer your question. So first of all, just because he passed it doesn't mean that he's not protecting people. I just want to be very clear on that. And I'll answer your question on why I think he's protecting people. First of all, they're breaking the law. The 3 million files that were supposed to be released were not released. That's number one. Number two, every single time a reporter asks Donald Trump about Epstein, he attacks and he says anybody, including his own supporters who talk about Epstein, he calls them stupid. He gets extremely uncomfortable anytime anybody talks about it. Number three, it just so happens he's in the files close to 40,000 times, the files that have already been released. Number four, everybody in the administration, when they asked, is Donald Trump in the files, they covered and they lied and they kept it from everybody. That's number four. So there's a lot of different reasons why. And I actually do believe Marjorie Taylor Greene, when she said one of the last conversations she had with him, he literally told her, I don't want to hurt my friends. So what that means is I don't want to hold people to account, even if they did some horrible things to children, because they're my friends. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene when she said that. Now I could list you 100 more reasons why I believe Donald Trump did some very bad things and he's probably protecting pedos. And he also won't rule out a pardon for Maxwell. And we went into the whole Club Med facility. So again, I'm looking at his history. I'm looking at his behaviors. I'm looking at the things he says. And there's a lot of things that add up to why I think Donald Trump. And by the way, if Donald Trump didn't pass that in 2025, there were Republicans that voted against it. Most of the Republicans, from what I remember, voted for it. I mean, you couldn't even imagine how bad that would have looked for Donald Trump. That's something that he had to do because Congress, voted for it. So just because Congress passed it doesn't mean that Donald Trump. I mean,
didn't he get the ball rolling? Get the ball rolling to get that?
Yeah, he got the ball rolling. He got the ball rolling. When
okay,
Jeffrey
so
Epstein,
he doesn't seem to be making very much fucking effort to protect his pedophile friends.
Yeah,
he's leaving Ghislaine Maxwell where she belongs in fucking jail. The FBI, the CIA, everybody else. I'll find out the fucking name she doesn't want to give.
Whoa. You think Ghislaine Maxwell belongs in a Club Med facility with all the VIP treatment that she's given? You think one of the biggest sex traffickers in the history of the world? Don't answer a question with a question.
She's still in prison. She's not. It's not like she's fucking getting spa treatment. And
so you're
fucking sitting there just chucking it up with the high life.
Actually, she is.
Where do you get that idea?
From the Democrat Party and the Democrats who actually investigated and they released a public.
It's you mean the people who have an incentive to fucking lie to you?
Oh, so she's not getting the treatment that publicly everybody, even TMZ did a story on this. So you're saying the jail is lying? Is that what you're saying?
It's a whistleblower that's saying that.
Okay.
These guys don't watch the news, Brian. Remember,
jail.
These guys don't watch the news. Okay.
They obviously don't.
They obviously don't. Points, right?
Okay, great point.
Yeah.
All right. Wait, Toasty. The way better argument is why, if Trump was trying to protect Maxwell or Epstein, why did no other president besides him actually his DOJ is the one that arrested Epstein and charged him.
True.
His DOJ is the one that arrested Maxwell. No, he didn't have to do that. Nobody else had to do that. And then why, if Maxwell had all this information on Trump, don't you think the Biden DOJ would offer her whatever she wanted,
That's
full pardon
true.
for information on Donald Trump if she had it? Like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. These are
I'm spot on.
I realized that might have been a better approach, but I kind of felt like that was a dead horse, so I wanted to try something new.
Well, the whole thing, and to expand on that for a second.
I just want to respond to what that guy just said.
I'm
curious. Go ahead, and if I can, then I'll expand on it.
Yeah. So first of all, it's not that Donald Trump is protecting Maxwell. I never made that claim. I believe Donald Trump is protecting himself and his friends. That's number one. Number two, under the Trump administration, we were told that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. But it is very interesting, isn't it, that they released a 3.5-minute video. But in that video, there's 1.5 minutes that just disappeared. Also, in the autopsy, they said that it was consistent, not with someone that took their own life. I do find that very interesting as well. As far as Joe Biden goes, under Joe Biden, Maxwell was under investigation. They were sealed. There was a trial.
No, she was under investigation.
She was under investigation. Yes, she was.
No, she was arrested. She was already arrested. The investigation was done while Trump was in office.
Okay. First of all, when did that happen?
That happened I think July 2021. So like a few months into Biden's administration, not enough time to have a.
So under when somebody is investigated and then there's a trial, what happens to those files?
What do you mean? What happens to them?
When somebody is under, I'm gonna hold on. Don't help him. When somebody is under investigation, and then there is a trial, and then after the trial they want another trial and they appeal. What happens to those files?
Stay with the DOJ. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay,
there's plenty of things that can happen.
I don't really understand this kind of questioning either.
Chill out. Let him.
I will tell you what happens to those files, which obviously you are ill-informed on. You see, sir, when somebody's under investigation and there's a trial and then there's an appeal, they are under something called a seal, meaning even if you're the president of the United States, you can't release those files. Are you aware that happened under the Biden administration? Because it doesn't sound like you are.
I said nothing about Biden releasing the files. I said if Maxwell had information on Trump, you think information what during the investigation that you're talking about has nothing to do with the files. Don't you think they would offer her a pardon? No, it has nothing to do with files. You don't have to have any files for her to offer a pardon for information on Trump.
And a quick pause right here. You have 2 minutes to hit it or quit it. Hit that one big fat red don't go, or we're all going to go home. Actually, what we're all going to do is we're going to have this party backstage, and none of you will be able to see it because we'll just end the show, and we'll still be back here, and you won't. Go ahead, Brian.
So to end that quick conversation, he's trying to make the assessment that, well, because Joe Biden didn't out Donald Trump when he was president, it must not be true. As I've said before, and I've said before, and I'll say again, I believe there are prominent people on both sides of the aisle. If in fact there was any president on the left that covered up anything in the Epstein files, I think it is awful and wrong, and I hope that comes out. The only thing we know for sure is that Joe.
This has nothing to do with
hold on.
Why would Biden cover up for Trump? Like, this makes no sense. I'm asking.
I didn't say that.
You're
not even
Trump?
following. Oh my God! You're not even.
If Maxwell had information on Trump, why would the Biden DOJ not offer a pardon for that information? You're not getting it.
You're totally over. No, you don't get it. Totally.
No, what you just said was, if Biden was covering up, then we should definitely look into that. It has nothing to do with what I said. I thought you would understand what I just said. So let me try to give you a little more detail. What I was trying to say was not Joe Biden covering up for Trump. If you could actually pay attention to what I'm saying, I'm trying to be consistent. What I'm saying is if Joe Biden was covering up for some of his friends that are pedophiles, if Donald Trump was covering up for people in the Epstein files, then I think that is equally as wrong. If you're making the case, well, why didn't Joe Biden call out Donald Trump?
Okay, but cover up for your friends. Cover up for your friends, but throw the dude that you really don't fucking like under the bus.
Yeah, what?
Joe Biden could single target. Joe Biden could single target it to focus on Trump. He could still protect all of his friends. So why didn't Joe Biden make it fucking single target Trump?
So here's the way I'll answer
what I'm saying.
You can offer a pardon to Maxwell just for turning on Trump. Like, that would be enough for a pardon.
Ryan, just real quick. When these files are released, these other 3 million, what do you foresee happening in the country? Like you just said, like both on the left and the right, we're going to have people that are prominent go down and everything.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a lot of chaos that's going to ensue from it. So my argument is that, well, why release them now? Whereas you can release them when the Republican Party, with Trump and MAGA and everything, is going to be in a more place where all.
Here's what I would say to that. Here's what I would say to that. Tell that to the hundreds and hundreds of human beings that were molested when they were children, and try to make it political to them.
And it's still happening.
Where are those hundreds of human beings?
It didn't just stop and start with Epstein.
I'll say it again. I want justice for anybody that has done horrible things to kids. Guess what? I don't care what people think might happen to the economy, which, by the way, I'm not buying. I don't care what happens to either party. I want justice for the victims. And Pam Bondi wouldn't even turn around and look at the victims. Donald Trump calls us stupid for even having this conversation. I want justice.
Well, I question some of those victims personally, of the Epstein victims that have come forward where they became the groomers themselves too. So that's kind of a false pretense in itself as well. So
you're questioning the victims in the Epstein files. Do you question Donald Trump?
No, I'm talking about these women that have come forward specifically in front of all the cameras. And I think that's done in a way to be able to bring other people that hopefully there are other real victims that they're looking for. That's
hold on. Let's do a last thought from Brian, and then I'm going to get to the super chats. Nobody hit that dono goal, which I mean, it's 3:00 in the morning. I don't expect it, but if somebody saves the show in the meantime of reading the super chats, then we can continue on. Otherwise, Brian, your last thought on the where you were at.
There are a ton of people that reported sexual misconduct when they were kids. I do not believe that those human beings, when they were kids, had any motives to lie other than to come forward and report. There are also a plethora of women in this country who have been sexually abused and molested that are afraid to come forward for a number of different reasons. They could be afraid. It could be a powerful person. They could be ashamed, embarrassment, you name it. So I tend to believe most victims. There are always going to be exceptions, but I tend to believe most. Listen, I believed Jussie Smollett. I understand that wasn't sexual misconduct, but I believed him. And then when I found out that he was a douchebag and he lied, I want that scumbag to go to jail. But unless you could provide me evidence of a reason why they lied, why you don't think they're credible, guess what? I believe everybody. And these people that are in the Epstein files that you said a charade press conference, what the hell have they gotten from it? You think they want to be in front of a camera? They haven't gotten any money. They haven't written any books.
I think they're just simply being used by the Democrat Party.
So they just decided to. That's ridiculous. First of all,
it's because you guys want chaos. That's really all it is.
Stop giving them more content.
Hold on.
Oh, so you believe Tara Reid?
The Democrats want chaos.
That's the only play you have left. That's it.
All right. The only play we have left is $100. Stop going for the win. I just said this to let Brian finish, and then we move to the super chats.
The only play that Democrats have is chaos. So I guess they can't play on the fact that Donald Trump got us into a war. I guess they can't play on the fact that Donald Trump rose the price of inflation, rose the price of all the products in the supermarket. I guess they can't use the fact that he said he would end the war in 24 hours and that there would be peace in the Middle East. I guess they can't use the economy or gas prices or any of that stuff. So I guess the Democrats will declare victory if they only talk about the Epstein files. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Have you seen his poll numbers right now? Guess what? It's not just because of the Epstein files, pal. It's because where this country is at economically right now. We're headed towards a recession. We're in an ill-advised war where we're spending $2 billion fucking dollars a day while people are struggling right now and they can't keep their job. So don't give me this bullshit that Democrats, the only card they have, the only play they have is talking about the Epstein files. By the way, there's a lot of Republicans behind closed doors that are very pissed off about this too. And they want accountability. They're just cowards and they don't show it because they don't have a backbone. Okay. This isn't just about Epstein. It's about the economy. It's about the false promises he made. He said on day one, all the prices would drop. No, Democrats have a lot to run on. And that's why you guys are going to have a fucking bloodbath when it comes to the midterms.
The Democrats have a 19% approval rate in Congress. The 19%.
We're done with the back and forth. We're going to move on to super chats, and then we're all going to say our final thoughts, and we're going to get the fuck out of here. If anyone wants to be a superhero, they can do it with $100 dono, one big fat red dono on my screen. Otherwise, we're getting the fuck out. Taking notes of the Big Five says insurrection,
PDFs.
Oh, God. Why didn't they just fucking okay? Embezzlement, Trump 2024. It's what we voted for. Wow. Any thoughts to that, Brian?
That's what we voted for. Well, it's interesting because there's a lot of people that supported Trump, that thought this was going to be America First agenda. Doesn't seem like this is America First when all the tech billionaires are making all the money and he's coddling up to two people like Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin, the two people that have benefited the most from this war. It's not America. It's Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. That is the opposite of America First. The opposite.
Okay. Big Bad Mama says, Brian, what do you think about Trump's $1.8 billion IRS slush fund for his cronies and his taxpayer-funded ballroom hospital?
Yeah, so let's be clear. The IRS, he was never going to win that lawsuit, that $10 billion lawsuit. That's number one. Number two, now the IRS could never open the books on Donald Trump or any member of his family. That was part of the deal. That's number two, if you want to talk about corruption. Number three, I think it is absolutely fucking embarrassing and despicable that millionaires are going to, Rudy Giuliani's, the Steve Bannons, the Navarros, these are the kinds of people that are going to be millionaires. And guess what? We're never going to know the who, what, when, where, why, because they're making it all private. If you beat Enrique Tarrio is going to be a millionaire. That doofus is going to be a millionaire. People that beat cops are going to be millionaires. If anybody in this country, you know who I think should get that money? Real heroes. Firefighters, police officers, people who save lives every day, people that are struggling, real Americans that are working 2 or 3 jobs. Those are the people that money should be divided to, not a bunch of imbeciles and criminals and white supremacists. It is a disaster. It's despicable, and we cannot let this story go away.
All right. I believe this came in over on Andrew's side. Not quite did. Says Brian takes everything personal. He's sensitive.
No,
the title of a video is enough to make him crash out. Ask Warren Smith.
I haven't taken anything in this conversation personal. The only thing that I took personal and the issue I took with Andrew, and we talked it out, is when it's about my family. If I took anything like this personal, I wouldn't be in this business. People can call me any name in the book. They can make cartoons about me. They can call me names. They can say whatever they want about me. That doesn't bother me at all.